Hey, what's up, man? It's Kane. Today we're on the LocoCast. We got a guest.
Yeah, it's Dre, the real Dre, at Instagram. My real name is Andre Taylor. I'm a local native of Wilkinsburg.
And we also have Xavier.
What's going on, y'all? It's X.
So yeah, today we're going to talk a little bit about like where you're from, how it was growing up, and then just tell us like a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, so I grew up in Wilkinsburg, actually. You know what I mean? Where we at right now. I grew up in Wilkinsburg up until I was around like 6, 7 years old. Then eventually I transferred down to Atlanta. Whenever I had moved to Atlanta, I moved with my grandma. My mom was in school. My dad was in the Army. So I was down in Atlanta probably for like 3, 4 years. It's kind of like the story of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I was down there getting in so much trouble, man. Fights, you know what I mean? Extra stuff. And then eventually I just got sent back up here. My mom ended up dropping out of school. Once she dropped out, I moved with her back in my grandma's house. And then from there, that's basically where my real life began, probably about 10.
Yeah. So what part of Atlanta were you from?
So I was actually down there. Man, what's the name? Clarkston. It was Clarkston, GA. It's basically like the country. Like when I say the country, I mean the real country. Like there's berries on the trees. You used to pick the berries off and eat them and stuff
You
like
was in
that.
the trenches, the
Whole lot of
sticks.
Africans. Yeah, Clarkston, man. It's nothing but Africans and projects. You know what I mean? So that's all that was really around. But down in Atlanta, being down there that short period of time, I really saw like how fast people moved and a little bit different lifestyle than Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's a little slow down, whereas Atlanta's more so fast.
Yeah, it's really slow, especially like for the black community. Like Atlanta is like accelerating more.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Especially back then, it was even more. It was accelerating a lot more, just for the simple fact that people could capitalize off a lot of things that people weren't already in.
Swear, I was in Atlanta for a little bit. Like, it's really crazy because, like, for me, that was my first time. Like, Pittsburgh, kind of like the wealth disparity is like it's clearly like white people are mostly like the wealthy people, and then like you got like a handful of black people here and there.
Right.
But for the most part, like economically, we're not doing too great. But like Atlanta was my first time seeing like you see all types of black people.
Right.
You see rich people, you see poor people, everything in between. And like I think like that's such an important thing to see when you're young, because like seeing people that look like you like in successful positions is like the easiest way I feel like to put yourself and view yourself in that same position.
Right. So, I mean, corresponding with what you just said, prior to going to Atlanta, I had actually went to St. James. It's actually down in Wilkinsburg. And I think it was either a Christian or a Catholic school. So there was a lot of black people, but also a lot of white. But the education was a good education. Going there, I had saw pretty much how they work things. And basically from there, what I had saw is that the system wasn't meant for me to really, go through a private school and really conquer what I wanted to do. A lot of those teachers, they were good teachers and everything, but it was more so on the business side. Whenever I would talk about certain things, they wouldn't see. Again, I'm like 6 or 7 years old, but I've always thought about selling stuff, whether it was toys, whether it was shoes, clothes, wherever it might have been.
What was the first thing you sold?
The first thing I started selling, it was the Pinnacle ones, man. It was a size 14. Social Status just had dropped them. It was the barbecue Pinnacle ones. It was brown. I was like 7th in line, yo. They just had dropped. It was a $400 shoe. I had saved all my money from shoveling that winter. I goes in the store. I'm talking to Larry. Larry's, matter of fact, still the manager there. I'm like, yeah, let me get the last Pinnacle, whatever it is. He's like, it's a 14. I'm like, let me just get it. It's cool. I get the shoe. I call my dad. I'm like, yo, I got the Pinnacles. He's like, what you talking about? What's that? Because the Pinnacles like is a whole different type of segment of Jordans. Those are like the premium Jordans. Not many people know about it. So I grabbed the shoe. I'm talking to him like, yo, just throw it on your eBay. At this time, I'm probably like 12 years old, 13 years old. He's like, it's a size 14, Dre. Who gonna buy that? I'm like, somebody will buy it. Just put it on eBay. Just put it on eBay, man. So he put it on eBay. Long story short, it sold for like $800. And at that point, double my money. During that time, you could make double your money during
the
time.
margins were probably really big back then.
Exactly.
The resale market wasn't as concentrated.
Exactly. So I sold that shoe, man, and I promise you, like whenever on Paid in Full, and they be like, man, when I first touched it, the first time I sold the shoe, yo, it just clicked in my head. I was like, yo, I'm never getting a job. I got to make this work. I'm only 13 years old. I made $400. That was a lot of money during the time. So what I had did is after I sold that shoe, I went, had $800, and then I started focusing on the releases. But in between, I actually ended up getting a job anyway. I ended up getting a job at Target. I had this manager named Craig, yo, funny as hell. He was just always on my back, but I would tell him like, yo, look, I'm making money outside this. I don't really need this job. And I would always explain to him why he needed me, manipulating him. Meanwhile, I was selling shoes on the side. I wouldn't show up for work or nothing. I was like, yo, I'm not showing up this Saturday. I gotta go sell some shoes. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't paying me enough. But he was a cool guy, man. Shout out to Craig. He stuck it all the way through. Also, Jersey Mike's. That was another job I had worked during the time. Yeah. Overall, I would just say back to the whole thing about school and just being about seeing a lot of black people succeed. Up in Pittsburgh, I was one of the first people to start reselling shoes. There was a lot of
Yeah, I
older
remember
people.
that. That's how I found out about you like a few years ago. You were
Right.
selling shoes, yeah.
Exactly. And that's pretty much whenever I just start falling off and like actually selling shoes. But prior to that, man, I was out here every single day. But Atlanta basically inspired me. Seeing so many black people, African Americans, go and get it, kind of inspired me to just want to go get it for myself, knowing that I don't need a job. These people don't got a job. They hustling. You know what I mean?
So yeah, I was in Dallas for an internship
Mm-hmm.
this summer, and then I seen like how many people like African Americans that are out there just like hustling and like getting it on their own, like with their businesses, like car wash, everything.
Right,
Finance
yeah.
it, consultant, everything.
Right. Even now today, man, I think it still stands tall. A lot of people in Pittsburgh, think about it. How many people you see in the city besides, say, entertainers or rappers, not even rappers, ride through the city in Lamborghini? You don't see it at all. No one has a
Nah,
Lamborghini.
you don't
in the
see,
city.
yeah,
unless
but
they-
everybody
Yeah,
got
man.
money though on the app. Everybody
Right,
got money
yeah.
on the app.
Swear to God.
And it's crazy to me because down Houston, I moved to Houston recently, back in like July. That's all you see, and you talk to people. People usually, whenever you see, like Andrew Tate had once said, you pull in the gas station, you see a Lamborghini, you think he's either a scammer, drug dealer, something illegal, something not legit.
Yeah,
You know
everybody's
what I mean?
stuck on the scamming right now. Everyone's trying to
Right.
scam, yeah.
Right, and the thing is, why isn't the first thing you think of is an educated man with a degree? So my whole thing is, if you believe and you want that Lamborghini, if whenever you see someone with that Lamborghini, you think they do something illegal or you think they're an entrepreneur, what are you going to school for? You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
kind of like where I feel beat at because I went to school. I got an accounting degree from Duquesne. It's like whenever I see somebody in a Lamborghini, 9 out of 10 times, they might have went to school, but they're not using their degree. They're just more
Yeah.
so on the entrepreneurship side. And Houston taught me that.
Yeah, and college is a lot of like networking too. Like I'm sure you met a lot of people at Duquesne.
Hell yeah.
So it's like it's a lot bigger than your degree. Like friends
Swear.
I have that I can call on and like do anything for real.
Exactly. This one guy, man, because I used to not believe in referrals. This guy named Quentin Perusa, I believe his last name is. He's a cool kid. He used to do like Lyft referrals. So he worked for Lyft, but he had people sign up. He knocked like he was like going door to door, knocking on doors and stuff like that, man.
Yeah.
Long story short, this is like my sophomore year. I link up with him up in the what is it called? The Duquesne, like a food cafeteria. I'm like, man, what you been doing? He's like, man, I've been working. I'm like, well, how much you in made? You saying you working? You always working? How much you in made? Shows me his paper. He made like 10 grand in a month. Remind you, we're sophomores. He got to be like
Yeah.
19.
Yeah,
he
no,
got
that's
to be like
crazy,
19. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? He's like, yo, I'm just doing referrals. I'm just going to the doors, knocking on them, and having people to sign up. Just flying us out, Punta Cana and stuff like that. And basically, that's whenever I really was like, okay, well, selling shoes is cool, right? Trading cryptocurrency, because at this point I'm trading Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's going up and down. I think this was around whenever Bitcoin went from 19,000 back down to 3. So it's the bear season. I'm like, man, I gotta find something else to do. So then that's whenever I actually start looking into the referral and becoming an ambassador of certain small companies, and then making money off of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the referrals pretty much is where.
Yeah, you taught me about the referrals on Instagram through the DoorDash. I was running it up through the referrals on DoorDash.
Yeah, I mean, the door, people don't even know about the DoorDash. They keep asking me why. You know what I mean? I still promote DoorDash just because you refer somebody, you make $900 per person. You go out there and you spend enough advertisement and you break the profit with somebody else. You could have 10 people sign up, make $9,000 in a month. But I mean, there's a whole bunch of referrals, man. It just depends on what you into. But yeah, going to school, man, it taught me basically how to really maneuver. Being in school, I used to always work in a gray area, but school was the one place where I worked in the gray area. I did all my work. I did all my tests. I never had nobody do any of my work. Although, whenever it came to just like the routine of getting up, going to school, sitting in class, dude, I would fall asleep in class all the time. I was last in class all the time. Literally, I was last coming to the door, coming in. The professor like, man, what is you doing? Like, yo, like, you know what? Just get out. You can get out. And I'm just like, damn. Yeah, I mean, I was out selling shoes all day yesterday, or I was up trading cryptocurrency all this morning. Exactly. So
Yeah, so
it just came to a point where it was like, man, eventually, like my sophomore year, after he had taught me about the referrals, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take school serious, but I'm done selling shoes for a little bit unless it's like a hot drop. That's whenever like the turbo ones and everything else start coming out. Because prior to that, that's whenever they start dropping all the ones. Exactly.
Yeah, you had a lot
exactly.
of, I remember
like
that
30 of
picture,
them. Yeah, overall, man, it's just going to school taught me a lot, but I would say it wasn't the best bang for my buck. It wasn't worth. Luckily, I had 75% off tuition. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been worth the $200,000 degree. Because I
don't
still
know
have
if
yet to use the degree.
If it was full, like if I had to go to school for full price,
Right.
I don't know if it'd be worth the full price because my
man,
parents
I
can't
can't.
pay for it.
Right. Yeah, it's not even worth it, man. It's not even worth it. But it's worth it because in corporate America, you understand going to school how to deal with people. If someone's disrespecting you or they're trying to shy you out the group, because going there, I was the only. It was me and 3 people that was accountants trying to become accountants at Duquesne University. Wasn't nobody else becoming accountants. So a lot of times.
So your class is really small.
Exactly. So the classes was probably about like 20 people in there, but overall in the business, it was probably like 20, like 10, not 10,000, like 3,000, something like that. But just in the business side of the school, you only see about 10 students. You know what I mean? So whenever it came time to break it up groups and stuff like that, I was always the last one to get picked because, you know what I mean? They don't know. I'm coming to school late. They think I'm slacking, all types of stuff. Not only that, but also, I mean, they're a little bit biased and they already have their groups.
You had the group project, and it was like, I don't know if I want to be the black guy.
Exactly.
I don't know if I want to be the black guy.
Exactly.
They're always nice to the black guy. Like, we're doing random groups today in this class.
Exactly. That's what they hate the most.
They throw a snake, or they try to give you like the easiest part of the project.
Right.
Like, bro, I could do the harder part of the project.
Like,
Right.
Just like the rest of y'all.
Right, and the crazy thing is I always came through and won us the project. The teacher would always say I was phenomenal. I actually had a teacher named, his name is Mr. Garber. It was my accounting teacher. I'm sitting there, I'm asleep. I'm like this, just like this. And he's picking the groups. And he's like, Andre, you're not even listening. I'm like, I'm hearing everything you're saying. My eyes are closed because I've been up trading. And I was like, you know what? I got a question for you. Because he's like, I think he worked for like one of the companies or something like that. And I think because I had networked early on in my life, I had made a connection. And that's why we passed that class with flying colors. I asked him like, hey, do you know my mentor? My mentor named Murray Gerber. Like, Murray Gerber? He's like, damn, man. Yeah. Just anytime you need help with any work, just let me know. Long story short,
big key. Like especially like if someone can refer you instead of like the cold start meeting,
right?
And then you have like a prior like a mutual acquaintance,
right?
Yeah, that's a lot of thing. A lot of people don't get is like, especially like going to school and stuff. People think you go to this name school, you go to that name school, like you're chilling. It's like, nah, there's still work to be done after the fact. And at the end of the day, like they say, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Right.
And like that person, like, especially with just like the way like the world works and things like that. No one's, you could be overqualified, have more skills, perform better, but if that person, that competitor next to you, they got their uncle or somebody, they're friends with somebody or things like that, it don't matter how good you look on paper because nobody knows you.
Right. That's exactly what had happened. So Murray Gerber, I had brought him up. He's former CEO of EQT. He's part of BlackRock and Halliburton. So he's pretty up there. He's like he's the one who motivated me. It was like the very first person I had met that had millions of dollars. You know what I mean? Not only that, but he was also real humble. He drove a real basic car. He took me out to lunch, eat in park. He was a real cool, down to earth guy. You know what I mean? Considering what he had did in life and how wealthy he really was. I actually had met him through a program at Braddock Propel. It was like Junior Achievement. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Junior Achievement. Yeah. So Junior Achievement had connected everyone with a mentor. So I had did autobiography, one of those where I had to speak for him. It was at this event downtown. I had spoke about him, chopped it up. Long story short, I'm starting to meet all these other people. I'm a black kid. At this point, I got a flat top. Man, it's like it look like Kid and Play's flat top. So they're not used to seeing nothing like that.
We can add a picture right here. Yeah.
All right, that'll be dope. So yeah, I'm doing the interview. I'm doing his autobiography. I'm reading it out, and after that, it's pretty much at that point I start networking with everyone else. Like I had met the CFO at UPMC. His name is Robert Demaché. Me and him still email to this day. I think he had retired, but he actually get me an internship doing like CZ claims. That's basically like whenever your insurance is getting sent to UPMC, I'm making sure on a pivot table on Excel that the bill lines up with your actual information, and then I'm accepting it or declining it, and then I'm sending it out. So that was at like 17 years old. So they had me doing real work at the U.S. Steel Grand Building at 17 years old. So whenever you say it's all about who you know what I mean, and not what you know, I can 100% say that that's valid just for the simple fact that I jumped a lot of hoops getting into internships, getting job offers and stuff like that, that I still declined because, you know what I mean, I'm an entrepreneur. That's what I live by. But if I had taken those opportunities, you know what I mean, that's the ideal life that someone would want to live.
Real quick, so I know you like told us a little bit about like the start of your entrepreneurship, like the selling shoes, but where do you think you got like that entrepreneurial spirit from? Because like
Yeah.
hunger is something that you can't teach, man.
Right.
You can't teach hunger at
Right.
all, and like you got a lot of that, man. So if you could speak on that a little bit.
Okay, I would say my hunger actually started. So I grew up in Wilkesboro. I grew up in Lakeland Road. Prior to that, you know, I was just playing like video games and I watched Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. It was whenever I wanted what was the playoff 12? The playoff 12s, I couldn't get them. My mom wouldn't get them. My dad wouldn't get them. They ain't had no money. And I was just like, man, I got to find something I got to do. So it was that winter whenever we had like, it had to be like 5 feet or 4 feet of snow. It was something crazy. Swear to God, it was like 2011, 2010.
Yeah.
And I went outside and I shoveled snow all that day, that whole day. Yo, I had some old Timberlands that I had for like 2 years. I had a coat, I had a couple of hoodies on. I just shoveled snow all around Wilkesboro, and I saved up the money. And I come home, I just put it under my mattress. I did that for about a week straight. Yo, I had like $1,200 just shoveling snow. I ended up buying those shoes whenever they released. And after that, that's more so whenever I was like, okay, well, I see things I wanted. My mom can buy, my dad can buy, but I gotta go get it myself. You know what I mean?
I feel like that really instills something into you.
Exactly.
Those are experiences that like people have the opportunity to do and they don't take, or like I said, you can't teach that kind of stuff. Like some people are just like, you know, well, I guess I can't have it. Like I guess I'm not gonna get it. And like accepting no for an answer is like people that really get places in life, man, they don't take no for an answer, man. Sometimes you gotta make your own doors, make your own opportunities, just like you were talking about.
Right. And I would say even before that, even though my parents couldn't get me the actual item, before that they were already educating me. Like whenever my dad came back from the military, my mom was in school, I was living with my dad. So I was walking to the store by myself and catching a bus. He lived out in New Kensington. I was catching a bus at like, I want to say like 4 years old,
I was about to say,
5 years old.
Like a Mac over
yeah,
there.
so I was catching a bus, bro. I was getting dropped off downtown, catching the bus to New Ken, walking all the way home. I was going to the store and stuff about like 4 years old. You figure your average 4 years old still watching Cocomelon or something like that. You know what I mean? So at 4 years old, I was already advanced. At 5, 6 years old, they had me learning sign language. And they had me studying the periodic table, basically on the back of the notebook. So I always had that mentally, but I feel like between the age of 6 to 11 years old was whenever I started like kind of not paying attention and being educated as I should have been. Actually, I kicked out of St. James, swear. I kicked out of St. James. It was 2 occasions. The first occasion was we had this teacher named Miss Pooljack. And I was always, you know what I mean, young and wild. And I told the teacher, I'm like, oh, Miss Pooljack, when you gonna pull your jack? You feel me?
Yeah.
On some little funny shit. Nah, for real, swear to God, I got kicked out. Not because of that. I got kicked out because I had gotten an altercation with somebody in the gym room. And, you know, I grew up in Wilkesboro. Everybody from St. James come from all around, Penn Hills, Squirrel Hill, everywhere. I had threatened one of the students. And then that's whenever they just basically drew the line. So after I got kicked out of there, that's whenever I went to Pucks. And then whenever I went to Pucks, that's whenever I really began to dig deep in who I was in my entrepreneurship and understand, because that school alone just had me. It's not normal teaching. A lot of people like 5th, 6th graders, like you're getting the average work and you got to come back. No, we had to write reports or tests were open-ended. So it pretty much allowed me to really think about my mind and what was in my mind and to discover myself in a way. So, I mean, entrepreneurship has always been taught to me, but I really didn't bring it out until I started like wanting certain things, and I'm like, man, why can't I get that? Why can't I get that? And then I was like, you know what? It's time I go find something that I can go and get it with. You know, I'll tell y'all something I didn't tell people. You asked me what I started doing before the shoes. So after I had got shoveling, after I had did the shoveling, and then I had got my shoes. After that, I was actually not in the street selling drugs, but I was actually, this is gonna sound wild, but swear to God, selling guns. That's something that I was doing like at a young age. I was selling guns at 12, 13, 14 years old. You know what I mean? Like that's not nothing to be proud of, but that's something that I turned away from. You know what I mean? I lost my friend named Justin at like 14 years old, 15 years old. And after that, I pretty much say, you know what, I'm done selling guns. I ain't dealing with no streets or nothing like that. But I never stole. I never sold drugs. I never did nothing like that. I did stand-up business the whole way through. But you know what I mean? After he had died, that's whenever I was like, okay, that's when I'm ever getting the shoes. And that's whenever I started going hard at, like I said, 14, 15 years old. That was like before the pinnacle. So whenever I got the pinnacle, I took that money, I was flipping it, selling guns and doing dumb shit. You know what I mean? But essentially, I took the next step and was like, you know what? Let me find something more legit. And then that's whenever I started selling the shoes. Yeah, that's wow. I would have never thought. Nah, for real, man. That's just.
So you never know how life's gonna turn out. And,
right.
Like, the fact that, like, I mean, like, it's unfortunate you had to, like, go through that situation and, you know, get you to that point. But I mean,
Right.
like, everything happened for a reason and stuff
Right.
like that. And, like, ultimately, like, you know, it proved for the better and, like, you know, just only, like, further manifested that spirit in you and, like, really, like, figuring out, like, where, because, like, that hustler mindset, there's so many different avenues you could apply it to.
Right.
And it's really
Yeah.
just finding about, like, the niche that's right for you.
Right.
And you can help people like guide them that are like being misdirected, like selling
Right.
guns, selling drugs right now. And I see you do that on Instagram too. You talk about like
Exactly.
the positive message.
Exactly.
Because a lot of people like you really end up two ways. Or there's only two ways doing it. Like you're
Right.
either gonna get caught.
Right. Either
Yeah.
caught or you're going to die. And I tell people that all the time. Like,
Because the IRS is watching.
exactly. All types of stuff.
The
You
cash
feel
app
me?
is not low.
Exactly. People think the cash app's low.
The cash
They be
app is-
tripping, man. They be thinking they smarter than the law. They not smarter than the law, man. Palantir's the new technology they got. That's whenever like you sign into something and then it shuts down or locks up. They already got AI technology to catch everybody doing everything they're doing right now.
I swear.
It's just
like,
a matter of time, man.
my friend was doing an internship for the FBI, and she told me, like, all they had her doing was just on TikTok, just scrolling, waiting for people to incriminate themselves. Like, that's what
Right.
she did all day. Like, they were watching, like, ain't nothing's low.
Right.
And it's always, like, choose the high road every time, because I feel like, I also personally believe, like, anything that comes in fast can
Right.
leave just as quickly.
And
Right.
I know
And
that
people-
from experience.
And, like,
Doing
people
something. Yeah.
don't get that.
Right, exactly. And I mean, I tell people all the time, man, especially on my Instagrams, I try to preach. Not necessarily, you don't got to live when I say an honest life, I don't mean you got to go to school, you got to go to work, and then that's it. You may be able to do a little finagling here and there. You know what I mean? But don't be broadcasting what you're doing all the time. And if you is broadcasting, just make sure that what you're doing ain't completely illegal. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people out here, they trying to get so much fat. Since the pandemic is hit, you got PUA, you got PPP, you got the taxes, you got all types of stuff
Yeah,
going
the taxes
on.
that everybody wants the fast money right
Right,
now.
exactly. So you got a lot of people getting the money, but as fast as they get the money, they spend the
roll.
money.
Like,
Exactly.
everyone had 20 bands, but like I don't know if anyone still has 20 bands, 10 bands.
Right. No,
Yeah,
not at all.
yeah, it's like, yeah.
Not at all, man.
Everybody on Instagram was in Miami, bro. Everybody was
Everybody
yeah.
got
exactly.
living their best life.
And you know what it was? And I think the pandemic was the start of basically social media really
Watching, yeah.
brainwashing everyone because what had happened the moment pandemic started is you got Lil Baby coming out, you got people doing all types of stuff, you got Pop Smoke dying, so basically Cartier's becoming popular. You got a lot of people wanting
Everybody
to go
wanted
out.
a pair of Cartier. Yeah.
Exactly.
And Joe Burrow wearing some Cartier.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? That's pretty much whenever that got popular. So you got a lot of people wanting to be out here living a lifestyle that they can't afford. So whenever they live in this lifestyle that they can't afford, it essentially catches up. Because, you know what I mean, $1,000, you might have got $20,000, but $1,000 don't seem like a lot. Well, shit. You know what I mean? There's only 12 months in a year. You spend $1,000 a month. You already ran through 60% of your money. But these
Yeah.
niggas is spending $1,000 in the club every week. You know what I mean? And spring break coming up right now. And people blew all their money. They getting their tax money again. They still won't go to spring break. Even though they didn't did it for the past 3 years. That don't make no sense to me, yo.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people. Like, live an honest life. And if you're not going to live an honest life and you're going to do what you got to do to get your money, make sure that it's for you actually have a goal. You got a plan. You know what I mean? Make sure
like
you want to secure property, NFT, anything. You know what I mean? People just get the fast money and they have no plan with it. And that's the biggest problem with us. We don't have a plan. We want all this money to shine, but we don't really have no real plan. Ain't no one out here really securing no assets.
Yeah, I feel like the older people definitely like, even though they were hustling and stuff, they had like a lot of property.
Exactly. Like, you figure all the old heads, well, my old heads that I know, man, they're buying property all in Lawrenceville, East
Yeah.
Liberty, Homewood, and stuff like that. That's why, like, your average person, like all the people from Penn Hills, all their mom and dads had properties way back then. They all got
Yeah, they had
money.
properties
You know
for
what I
many,
mean?
yeah.
Exactly. They had properties way back then. That's why now, well, I'll say this. They had properties that gets passed on to the kids, but I'd say it takes at least 3 generations for wealth to stick because now their kids, those are the kids that you saw driving to school in the Benzes and all types of
Yeah.
wild stuff, and it was mom and dad's car, but they had that mindset that they need stuff before they actually grind, so that's why a lot of the wealth is lost. Exactly, because the people don't have to grind.
They don't see the back end of the work, and they think that like that's like it's rough. Like it's like obviously a privilege, to have like be able to drive a Benz or young and things like that. But
Right.
you don't see what happens on the back end to get there.
Right.
And then you get into adulthood, and you're realizing like shit's not like that at all.
Right.
And you have no idea of how to sustain it, how to build it, because all you did was just enjoy it, and you wasn't
Right.
really focused on learning nothing.
Exactly. And a lot of those people, like their families, man, like a lot of people that I know that have a wealthy family, they don't really try to do what their family's doing. They try to reinvent their own path, and I get it.
Yeah,
but
but
sometimes if it's working,
Yeah,
follow
like,
the blueprint.
everybody's
stick
like,
to
yeah,
it.
like their pride's in the way. Like, I want to do it by myself.
Right, yeah, exactly.
But you got a written blueprint right in front of you.
Exactly,
Like,
exactly,
or they say,
man.
I don't want someone to tell me that I was handed everything, but
Right.
you still have to make it work.
Right.
You can't just, it's just not just going to run.
You can't just ditch what's going on. It's been working for the past 50 years, 100 years in your family. Now you want to try to do something different. That don't make no sense to me, man, because I didn't grow up fortunate enough to have nobody around me that already had money. So whenever I start seeing money, man, I used to think a Maserati was like the big form. Maserati's like $25,000, $30,000. You know what I mean? It's just like,
found out the price of a Maserati. I said, what? I thought it was
exactly,
$100,000
$100,000. Exactly. But it's just not having people around that might have had that money, or if you did have that money, or the people around you did have that money, they were smart enough not to show you and let you flaunt with it, and made you humble enough. You know what I mean? To respect the things and respect the type of living that you live in, the lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, most people try to make excuses and say, yeah, nah, because college is too expensive. I mean, if you poor, college is basically free. College is basically free.
Exactly.
Literally, man. You get grants like CCAC is free. CCAC free. And you get a check back. If you don't, like, that's what people doing in school right now. I encourage everybody that's in school.
I get a check back. Yeah, I get a check. I'm in my check next week.
If you're in school, my encouragement would be to, whenever you get that check, try to find an investment, yo. Because I remember there was this one kid, my roommate, his name Aiden. He would get a check back, and there was another kid. They were getting like $9,000 back a semester. I'm like, 9,000.
Yeah, bro. I got like, got
got
a lot of money. I'm not gonna do a lot of money.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But just think about 20, what was that, 17, 2018?
Mess it up, yeah.
It's easy to mess it up.
I messed it up too, so
it's easy to mess it up,
but you
man.
just gotta learn from it.
I done messed up, I would say, when's the year the pandemic started? 2020, whenever I was working on referrals a bit more. I messed up like $100,000, man, in a year, just like BS.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
Oh, all right. So basically, what I was doing is I was referring people, and I was making money off the referrals. But whenever I was making the money, I get the money so fast, I spend it, or someone needed something, I just give it to them. So back then, what I was doing, I was buying like, you familiar with Safe Moon?
Yeah, Safe Moon.
I was buying Safe Moon. Well, that was the next year, but I was buying into like little meme coins. Like I was just buying into anything.
Yeah, bro, you put me onto those like meme coins. I was watching your story. Yeah,
exactly. So Safe Moon went up, but then it went down. I put like 20K in Safe Moon, shot down to like $2,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't took so many L's, but I didn't took so many W's with cryptocurrency. So basically, majority of my losses was never going to the club, doing crazy stuff. You know what I mean? 2020, I wasn't buying no sections. I was buying clothing and I was investing in cryptocurrency. Some of the cryptocurrency I still hold, like XRP. I had like,
you still hold XRP?
Man, yeah, I had a decent amount at one point with 6 figures just in XRP, and now it's locked up, so now I can't touch it until, the SEC unlocks everything, and then I could pretty much pull my money away, or I could send it, I can go to another country and then try to pull out that way. But on Bittrex, you can't get it out.
It's locked on Bittrex. Yeah, you can only, I think you can only use it on like Uphold or something.
Exactly, Uphold, exactly.
Uphold,
But man, I was doing a lot of wild things. Yo. I can't even say I was tricking, bro, because I don't do that. I don't trick, bro. I don't buy bottles of 1942 and go crazy. That was like this type of year stuff. You know what I mean? Like whenever
I seen the music video.
I was doing a bit more things, but during the time, man, I wasn't doing all of that. 2020, man, I wasn't. It was more so just cryptocurrency. Honestly, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like I don't even know where the money went. I don't even know where the money went, man. $100,000. I don't know where the money went in 2020.
Yeah, 2020. I feel like I had a lot of money in crypto because I remember you told me about ADA one time. It was like $1. You were like, $1. If you were put something, I said I put like 1,000 or something. Right. It went to $3. It made $3,000 easy as hell.
Exactly.
But then it just disappeared. Yeah,
it just disappeared. Yeah, but that's the thing. A lot of times,
not be greedy. That's what I learned. You can't be greedy with the profits and just take
it out.
That was my problem. Like, no, it's gonna go up. It's gonna keep going up.
Man, I got this. What? This is the camera right here.
Yeah, it's the camera.
Hold on, I'm about to show y'all something, man. I had this coin, man. Man, y'all gonna be like, what the fuck? Excuse my language, but man, y'all gonna be like, this is crazy. I want to show y'all this, man. Never be greedy. This is why you don't be greedy. It's November
21.
November 21. I was loving life.
I was loving life, bro. Who knew in December?
I was waking
disaster was striking.
Disaster was striking, man.
I don't even check my crypto no more.
I used to wake up every day. Wow, I'm up 10%. I was up there.
10%, man. It got ugly.
I'm over here. The old heads is like, wow, I went up 11% this year. I'm like, forget your 11%. I'm really up. Look, one day I said, it is not the same.
Look, this is the camera. Look at this, bro. It was like that, bro. You probably can't. I gotta get close on it.
You can give it to Xavier.
I'll show you Xavier. It's something crazy, man. Something like, look at that, man. That's gambling. You don't want to do that. Whenever you up, initially I put in $2,000.
Wow.
$2,000 went up to $38,000. I let it sit. It went to $500.
Oh,
he not,
bro.
Literally.
He not cap either. Like,
it's the truth, bro. It's crazy.
But something that you said, man, I really you said you had a lot of L's, you had a lot of W's, but also looking at those L's as lessons.
Lessons, exactly.
Yeah, lessons, yeah.
Exactly.
Things are going to happen in your life, and it's really about, I feel like, how you move forward after those events happen, because you can either let things make you die or things can make you stand up.
Exactly. And that's a lot of things. So far as lessons, man, I had a lot of lessons, yo. I had a lot of lessons from 2018 all the way to now. My first lesson was, I think I was doing something with my credit. So my credit wasn't all that well, but I had the money. I had to get I was letting my aunt, I was basically giving her the money to get a property out in West Mifflin. It was a duplex. It was like $60,000. At this time, she working a job. It was like it was paying her like $825. So basically, it approved her for the house, even though she was making $825. And basically, upon that time, I was hustling the money. This is whenever the silk. Which ones are they? The silk ones, the red ones. What's they called? You know what I'm talking about? They red and white and black. I never told this story.
Red, white, and black.
The silk ones. They was going for like $1,000. Damn, y'all don't know. Y'all supposed to be
bro.
I'm the one that usually.
Yeah, Xavier's the one who usually knows. He knows all the sneaker history. I usually be
look up red ones. 2019 silk.
I'm gonna keep looking.
You said 2019.
2019. Yeah, it was the most popping sneaker, yo. I'm pretty sure it was the silk ones.
You said Chicago's.
It wasn't Chicago's. It was like some. Nah, not the Chicago's, cuz. Not the Chicago's. They was something else, man. If you look up black, red, and white silk ones, it'll pop up. Literally. That was my biggest lesson. That's why I'm just waiting on this one part. That lesson taught me all of lessons. All of lessons, man. And I would honestly, like, that was the biggest lesson of all. And from there, basically, it's just whenever I really started focusing on me, smaller in my circle, and really focusing on what I had to do and my goals.
Oh, the satin ones.
Satin ones, okay, yeah. So
that shit was hot. That shit was
cut
hot.
it from there. But yeah, so basically, my biggest lesson was the satin ones. I remember the satin ones came out. I had like 20 pair of them. We was out all night. You know what I mean? It was going for $1,000 out, $20,000 at a time. Don't nobody know this story, you know what I mean? So y'all getting the first look. So basically, long story short, I get the shoes. I'm on my way to drop somebody off. I drop them off. Then I get bagged for all 20 shoes. $20,000. I'm like 20 years old, yeah. I get bagged for $20,000 in shoes, swear.
At your car?
At my car, yes. Yeah, I mean, so I walked away with my life, you know what I mean? And I walked away with, I had like $5,000 in my pocket. I walked away with that money in it. You know what I mean? I was just kind of like, okay, who could have did this? You feel me? Like, this ain't adding up. It ain't adding up in my mind. Shit ain't clicking. You know what I mean? So at that point, that's whenever
out there.
Exactly. So at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just lessen my circle, and it's a lesson. But in the end, it really taught me, like, you got to know people and you got to know what you're around. So whenever you talk about lessons, that lesson was more so I had the money to pay for the house. That house today, the duplex that she was gonna get, worth like $250,000. So it's $60,000. So we would have had like $190,000 equity in it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But that one person or those two people, whatever the situation was, cost me 20 bands. Basically, put me in predicament to where I missed out on $200,000 come up. You know what I mean? At 20 years old. That was my first lesson. After that, you know what I mean? I pretty much tightened up my circle. I started grinding a little bit more, trying to get some of that money back. Because at the time, I think I had like $50,000, something like that. But I was trying to buy a property myself, a 4-unit out in Keys Rock. So that was my first lesson. My second lesson was more so I had did some dumb shit. I had taken some class at a Butler Community College, but it was in Kansas. It wasn't that big of a dumb lesson, but it was down in Kansas. I thought it was in PA. So I took like 15 credits or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah. This is like my second year in the Duquesne, so I'm supposed to be graduating the next year.
Yeah.
2 years later. So basically I ended up getting stuck with a bill for like $9,000 or something like that. And I wasn't getting that big of a refund check. You know what I mean? My refund check was only like $500, enough to pay for the books. So that put me in another situation where I had to kind of grind it out. But again, this was just me moving fast. As you're listening to the story, you should just know I was just moving fast. I didn't know what was going on. And I never stopped and just like looked at the picture for what it really was and seeing where I was messing up. Because whenever I took that loss, it was again in August. So the Satins came out, August? I took another loss in August. And then 2020, I took another loss. 2020, I had went and got my Scat Pack. This is whenever PvP and all that stuff was going on. My Scat Pack was renting out. It was renting out. Everything was fine. Yo, I made like $15,000 off my Scat.
Did you guys have like a rental company? You had like
exactly,
Scat Packs?
Exactly.
You had a nice little fleet. Bro.
Exactly. Yeah, we had 2 Scat Packs. We was gonna add more Hellcat, Red Eye, all that other stuff, and basically that's when my car got shot up. So whenever the car got shot up while I was rented out, I called his insurance. He was, bickering this, that, and the third. His insurance, he told his insurance he was gonna pay for it out of pocket. So at this point, I'm dealing with him directly. He just stopped responding. I have a lawyer contacted insurance. His insurance was like, well, he don't want to cover it, so we don't want to cover it. So, this is like $20,000 in damage. This is somebody like I didn't know him at all. I'm giving him love prices, because he's renting it out, he's coming back. And essentially, I end up having to pay for that out of pocket. Right now, it's still a lawsuit. It's open. I end up getting like $80,000 in equity if he ever does own something in his life. Eventually, I'll get all my reparations sent to me. But that was the next one. So if you pay attention to the story, I always take a loss in August. So around August, I pretty much down from 2020. I just chill like all of July, all the way to like September. You know what I mean?
Swear the summer, bro. I don't know what it is, but the summer just brings something out of people.
Yeah, we took some losses in the summer. We took some losses in the summer.
You even speaking about just like sitting back and observing, like it's so true. Like when you really just like stop moving fast and you really look for things that, like at face value.
Right.
You start making a lot more informed decisions too, just because, like we was talking about earlier, anything that come in fast could also leave real quick.
Leave fast, and that's what I start pretty much picking up on. So this year, I would say 2021, it was a cool year, but this year was pretty much a chill year for me. I made a lot of money this year. Well, not this year, but 2022. I made a lot of money, but I was more so getting closer to my family. I was never really a family person, never the type to really go to a family and hang around, but that's pretty much where I found myself being most happy, most relaxed, and staying out of trouble. You know what I mean? This year I probably went to the club like 3 times. I can count on one hand how many times I went to the club, got a section, any of that. But last year was the year whenever I was going out a whole lot. 2021 was the year I was going out a whole lot. A lot of stuff going on. But yeah, man, whenever you say lessons, a lot of those lessons just taught me the more money I got to really step back and don't put myself in the center of whatever's going on. Don't make myself accessible to others, because others will use you as your collateral in whatever way they may want to.
I definitely don't realize, like, the more access you give people to you, the less they value it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing.
That's a law of power. In the Robert Greene book, yeah.
Yeah, access. The access that you give somebody, man, they'll use it they'll use as collateral to bring you down. And I feel as though if you could say the same thing that Jay-Z could say, they would cherish what Jay-Z would say more than what you say, even if you said it first just because of his status. So I think also with having access to somebody, it says they don't see you as a valued person if they have access to you. Whereas if you weren't accessible to them, then they would value your time way more. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like there's people now that I used to pick up the phone for all the time that now I won't even pick up the phone. And now whenever they do have a conversation, they have real things to talk about. I don't like talking about females and this, that, and whatever's going on around the city. I like talking about what's going on with you. How do you plan on getting out this situation, or what's your next move? You know what I mean? A lot of people nowadays, man, they like to talk about everything else going on. That's not really what I'm into. I could buy everything that I pretty much see everyone talk about. So to me personally, closing up my circle allowed me to really focus on who I was, get rid of the negativity, and pretty much love family more. You know what I mean? Because family's one of the most important things. If you got a mom and dad and they, you know what I mean, they're above 40, 50, you got grandmas and stuff like that, you may not realize how much you actually love that person, or how much that plays a role in your life until they're gone. And then that's whenever you pretty much starting to try to derail. Yeah, you don't know exactly what's going on. You start finding yourself whenever you thought you had already found yourself, and now you're hanging around people that you usually don't even hang around. So now things is happening to you that should never happen. If I would have spent most of my time sticking beside this girl I've been talking to and my family, I would have cut back a lot of those losses, because whenever, like this past year, I ain't take no losses, sticking around family and my girl, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's pretty much how I see the future going for me so far, as unless we acquaintances, business associates, there ain't no other reason to be really cool, because you should have been there whenever I was coming up. Now it's like you can't just pretty much attach yourself onto what I got going on and think that we're going to be, cool in this sense.
Yeah, a lot of people don't want to stay around on like all the motion and everything.
Right, yeah, exactly. Man, you take a loss. How many times I took a loss and somebody be like, somebody be like, damn, that's messed up.
That's messed up.
Like,
Yeah,
you ain't gonna offer to help. You ain't gonna offer to do nothing. You ain't nothing. You ain't got nothing on nothing. All right, I guess I got to figure out myself. And that's whenever I realized, I was like, you know what, I ain't really got no real friends. It's just, you know what I mean, me and my problems, but it's cool because whenever people come around with their problems, I still help them, but that's just the person I am. You can't let a rotten apple make you turn rotten. Exactly. You know what I mean? So that's why I really just still stay true to who I am and still help people out if I can, and it's not in my detriment. But overall, so far as having people around, nah, ain't none of that. People come to my house, ain't nobody been to my house in 5 years. I mean, my mom don't even know where I stay. You know what I mean? I don't play that. Ain't no hanging. I don't do that for real because, again, we grown now. It's a lot of time. A lot of people watching this, maybe 20 to 25 years old. People are desperate. People got college loans. They back on their car payments. You never know what angle people's trying to approach.
People always got their own like personal objective. Or, like,
right, exactly, and that's the first thing that you honestly want to ask somebody though. Like not ask, but you want to recognize like, okay, why are they trying to be cool with me? What I got going on? How do they benefit? Matter of fact, how do I benefit off of them? A lot of people you can't even benefit off them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Got to be some type of mutual.
Exactly,
mutual benefit.
It don't be mutual. That's overall. It just don't be mutual, and that's where I just, like I said, I keep saying, I just stick to myself.
And real quick, I really like what you said about family, man. I tell people all the time, like, you got to understand, like, besides yourself, the only biggest cheerleaders in your life is going to be your family.
Right.
Yeah, ain't just like no one's going to come to save you either.
Nobody is coming to save you.
Right.
At all. And, like, you have to understand that, like, especially, like, just, like, random people or whatever, like, you know, what are really their objectives? What's their reasoning? Especially if they're trying to, like, if it sounds too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. Like,
right.
Like, again, like, looking at things at face value and just, like really taking your time, bro. Like you said, like, just going a little bit slower, looking at things, and, like, it can save you from a lot of stuff. Like, there's no point in, don't learn a lesson the hard way when either somebody else done learned that lesson for you already. Like, right. I say, like, don't, you don't got to touch the stove even though it's hot.
Right, exactly. I think that's something that's informative. A lot of people should take initiative and understand that because I tell people a lot of lessons on my stories. I post a lot about lessons that you should.
A lot of free knowledge.
Check out his Instagram.
He's not asking for no course. Like, he really shows love out here.
And people ask, hey, you offer a mentorship or nothing like that? Nah, I just want you to win how I'm winning. I want you to understand the losses that I took because of these losses. You know what I mean? A lot of my losses, if you want to ask about any of them, people think it was somebody random. Nah, I still don't know what any of my losses. It was always someone that was close. And that's something that you may not realize. If you got a friend out there, you got people around you, don't ever think that they won't. It's just, it's not the right amount at that point. You know what I mean? Until someone's desperate, they get kids or, you know what I mean? Think about you 30 years old and you got money laying around. Someone's desperate. You know what I mean? Their kid's not eating. And you don't want to put nobody in that position. As DMX said, you gotta accept people for what they are. Accept a snake to be a snake and bite you. You gotta accept a dog to be a dog. You gotta accept everybody for who they are. But it's in your hands to treat them how you want to treat them and put them in a position where you want to put them. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much what I do. If I'm hanging with somebody that I know is shicey, yeah, we going out to the club where everybody can see us. No, I'm not going no alley and smoke no blunt with you. I don't smoke weed. Not drinking with you. We're not going to your trap house. We're not doing nothing like that. We're going to the club where everybody sees us and I'm in and I'm out. You know what I mean? I don't really put myself in positions to where I can be accessible or touchable or I'm defenseless because a lot of people nowadays, that's just what they into. Everybody's a scammer. Pooh Shiesty came out. Everybody want to have Dracos and all this other stuff.
Everybody's a scammer.
Bandman Kevo came out. Everybody want to be a scammer because of Bandman Kevo.
Everybody wanted to do credit. Bandman Kevin.
Credit's actually illegal to repair. Like you go to jail for that. Some girl.
You go to jail for that?
Yeah, repairing credit, 100%. It's illegal. You cannot do that. You're falsifying. Think about it. If you dispute on Credit Karma that you didn't make this payment or that you did make this payment or you don't own this account, that's basically fraud. You know what I mean? That's fraud in itself. But a lot of things don't get a light pointed at it, but it's out there happening. You know what I mean? Like,
dang, and they like really promote you that they're doing it.
Yeah. Credit repair. I might offer trade lines. Authorized users are basically whenever
authorized users. Yeah.
That's legit.
That's like a rich family.
Exactly. So if you got good credit, you basically get somebody to add you on, or you add somebody on your credit line that has an old history and a big credit line, and basically it brings your credit to wherever there is. So if I add you on my Amex and I got a 700 credit score, 9 out of 10 times, if you don't have no credit, I'm gonna bring you to 700. But for me to tell you that I'm gonna take everything off your credit, that's illegal. I can't do that legally.
And that don't even sound right.
It don't even sound right.
Exactly. If I got 10 late payments, obviously I earned those 10 late payments. So what are you doing to take those off? You send in letters, you lying. You know what I mean? You don't really want to get into that. you just don't want to get into that. And a lot of those people are coaches. You know what I mean? Everyone wants to be a coach.
Everyone's a life coach on Instagram.
Exactly.
Everyone's a life coach.
And that's just a way to get your money. A lot of these life coaches just want to get your money. They just want to
a lot of
sell
life
your
coaches
story.
Don't even live the life that they're promoting.
Exactly. And that's another thing,
they're promoting the mansion. They live in an apartment.
Right, yeah. And that's why I phase out. I ain't never spent no money with a life coach. Matter of fact, I lied.
I got banned by Bandman Kevo.
Yeah, I brought in Bandman Kevo. There wasn't nothing on the OnlyFans. And the phone call was $500. He wasn't talking about nothing. You know what I mean? Like, they just scammed him $500. I'm not sure about these people, you know what I mean? Because, again, I have never actually met them.
Exactly.
But, again, they got 100 people like you willing to pay you $200 to have a phone call. They're going to make that money, and then they just going to hang up the phone, or they just going to have a mentorship and not really be a hands-on with you. You know what I mean? And pretty much you figure, how do they own that mansion? How do they got these cars? Well, they got 1,000 people paying them $20 a month.
Yeah, so they're not making money from the
business at all.
They're not making
no money from the actual business. Yeah, they're making money from subscriptions. And that goes back into referrals. That's what the world's going to be about, especially with the social score. A lot of these people, coaches, they're popular, are going to fall off because with the social score. You familiar with that?
No, talk a little more about that.
So social score is actually happening in China. Basically, it's going to go off your criminal record, speeding tickets, your education, your credit, your evictions, everything that's public. Basically, like all your public information is going to be combined in one social score. So whenever people's walking around, essentially, so they got augmented reality glasses. So people are essentially, this is like 10, 20 years down the line. They may even have it sooner. Like online, whenever you go, whenever you post something, you get banned for like 29 days. They'll say something like, your post will show up on the lower totem pole for the next 29 days because you posted some weed or something crazy. You know what I mean? Right. They're already kind of like scoring people. But basically, whenever you walk around, it's going to be a score, and it's going to tell you whether or not, or let you know whether or not you want to deal with that person. It'll say high risk, low risk, good, or whatever the case may be.
That's crazy you talk about that. I don't know if you know, there's a show on Netflix called Black Mirror.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with Black Mirror.
You remember that episode on Black Mirror where it's like Tinder for real life or whatever, like just like the social score, you could rate your experiences with people and then you gotta have a certain score to get in. Like I remember
getting this stuff, right,
like the girl was trying to go to like her friend's wedding or something and you needed like an 8.5 to get in or something.
Exactly.
Like, she ran into like a bunch of stuff on the way and like she had good experiences with some people, bad experiences with other people, and like she gets to the wedding and she had like a 7.7 or something like that. And she's like,
people are walking away from her and stuff like that. That's exactly what's going to happen. And I would say that's only going to have people live a better, honest life, if that makes sense like that. There was another episode on Black Mirror wherever it's kind of like what's going on right now with the influencers and stuff like that. He had a glass and he would put it to his neck and then just get on camera and talk. You know what I'm talking about? And pretty much he got there by riding a bicycle. He had to ride a bicycle for points. He had to do good deeds for points and stuff like that. You know what I mean? To get a score higher. And I mean, it's communism at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Because you judging somebody based off of their past action, where someone can make a change today and be like, I'm never going to be that person. But in reality, if someone says they're making a change, 9 out of 10 times they don't make the change, they still that person. They just haven't released the beast. So, social score is going to be very interesting, especially with all this AI technology coming out and them being able to find you and stuff like that. Like all this crime stuff that's going on right now is pretty much going to get cut in half just for the simple fact that they have AI technology that can solve anything based off your social score. Like you're not going to be able to go into certain places like for instance, the government just signed something to where they have access to all your bank information. So basically, you're familiar with Plaid?
Yeah, bro, Plaid just got.
That's how you log into all the apps.
Yeah, like people don't notice either. Like Plaid is like the company that does like the processing and stuff like for like your like your Cash Apps, your Venmos and things like that.
Exactly.
And, like, Plaid just paid like I think it was like, man, I'm about to look this up, but I'm pretty sure it was like a 250 M settlement because they were selling people's data and like. You know how many people use Venmo, Cash App, like every single day? Like, it's crazy, like, what you don't know is going on behind closed doors. And, like, you'll see something like, oh, I could just send money to, like, whoever needs it easily.
Right.
Like, I'm just going to accept that immediately. And you don't look at none of the back end stuff and what's happening. And, like,
exactly.
You can get, like, put in a really messed up position.
Right. That's why the Cash App stuff is going on right now. Like, for instance, on Instagram, you can actually send money. I just did it the other day, but it was a legit transaction. Someone brought a Freebase shirt. That's my company, my clothing brand. And they paid me $700. So on their end, it took me 3 to 5 days to get the money, but it says just click here when shipped. I clicked here when shipped. I basically just said it was shipped, and I got paid. I ended up shipping it out and providing the tracking number, but Instagram didn't require any tracking number, anything. They just released the money to me. So that's good on my end, but on his end, he could just dispute it.
You're right.
You know what I mean? And get the money back.
So tell us about your your Freebase, your clothing company?
Man,
I know it's real exclusive. Like you
right.
You like real limited drops.
That's my first time hearing.
Yeah, I swear it's not even like a. It's kind of like a friends and family type of thing. You know what I mean? With the Freebase shirts, you basically get NFT of me. It's gonna give you access to 50% off everything that I do. All the free ebooks. I'm currently building a website. You get free ebooks. You get a free logo. You know what I mean? That $700 isn't necessarily for the shirt. Not to include that the shirt is all hand stitched. Or it's also stitched by the machines, but it's all stitched. It's no like screen print or nothing like that. Print, yeah. Exactly, it's embroidery. Exactly, so it's a high quality shirt. There's the plain white T-shirts themselves cost like $200. Is a very good mix of cotton and polyester and all the other stuff. But they were that expensive more so because of the things that I was given with it. You know what I mean? I was given, I think at the time it was like 0.3 ETH. So 0.3 ETH was like $300. So really, you're essentially paying like $100 for the shirt, and then all the other services add up to $700.
So, but people won't look at that, but they'll go see whatever like somebody else doing. They'll be like, they'll just throw their money at it, right? And they're not getting nearly like the value that you're offering,
right? And that's and my fault to cut you off. And that's pretty much why I made it so expensive, because what I'm starting to learn is I don't want people coming to me. I don't want to be selling $40, $50 shirts, and then someone comes to me and now they want a refund, or I don't even want to give someone a chance to talk bad about me. So now I put my prices so high that if the person's coming, they know what they're paying for. They're obviously not worried about it, and they know the quality is going to be there. So me selling $700 shirts, somebody selling $30 shirts, or say, $30 shirts, they got to sell, like 30, they got to sell like 25 shirts in order just to catch up. And not only that, but you got to deal with 25 other customers. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm dealing with one customer, and I have a personal relationship with that person. And more so, I just launched a brand and that shirt specifically just to really see who was out there who really, not mess with me, because I understand everyone don't have $700, but the people who had the money to see if they actually supported what I had going on. Shout out to my boy MBK Drew. He was one of the people that brought a shirt. And this other guy was some random guy on Instagram the other day. But more of the story is they like a lot of content I put up, and also they're benefiting a lot from behind the scenes of things that's going on, money opportunities, maybe crypto picks and stuff like that I shoot to them just because I actually made people a lot of money with cryptocurrency that did buy a shirt. You said you made some money off of cryptocurrency?
I'm not gonna lie.
But
how'd you get into crypto? How'd you
first learn about it? You wouldn't believe it if I told you.
What happened?
You ever watch the movie Dope?
Yeah. Dope. Yeah. Man. That's the first time I heard. Yeah.
I want to beat myself up because of that, man. So look,
because they were talking about it in the movie,
bro. I watched Dope. Remind you, this is 2014, so this is right after my boy died. But remember, I had just stopped selling guns, so yeah, he was selling drugs. I never sold drugs in my life. Drugs was the one thing my dad, everybody looked down upon just because they harmed other people. Guns do too, but it just, drugs were just never the thing. So I'm watching Dope, and I used to lay down, and I'm just, that was my, you know how you got that one show that you fall asleep to?
Yeah.
I used to watch it. A$AP Rocky, a lot of the times, whenever I was in the fashion, 2014,
yeah, because A$AP Rocky's in the movie.
A$AP Rocky was in it.
Fashion Killer.
Tiger was, Fashion Killer. All that stuff, man. So I really paid attention to that show. And it was just my favorite show, It was just dope. I like the whole style of Malcolm. He was like a cool kid, but some BS. Flat top. He had a flat top like me. Similar relations, but I ain't sell drugs. And I was just like, man, he's an entrepreneur. He's making stuff happen. He was places talking to older people. Because whenever I was selling shoes, most of the people I encountered with was not kids. It was like 24, 23 years old. People out of Detroit and stuff like that. Vice. I was selling shoes to Vice stores, like real life Vice stores, like people that's down for real life, millionaires, all types of stuff. But Dope. Dope was a dope movie, man. And pretty much after I start watching that, I was like, man, what's this Bitcoin stuff? My dad was like, man, leave that alone, man. It's illegal. It's the Silk Road.
That's how they were selling their stuff online.
Exactly.
Yeah. I didn't watch that movie in a minute. I got to spin back.
Yeah, man, that movie's dope. So my dad actually encouraged me not to buy Bitcoin during the time because it was on the Silk Road, and everything about Bitcoin then was kind of illegal. So a year went by, and I had this Chinese guy, man. He came in. He pulled up in a Nissan GTR. I was in the cars during the time. I just like cars. And I'm like, man, that's a nice car. I'm like, how did you get it? How much it cost? He was like, 90,000 Bitcoin. I'm like, 90,000 Bitcoin? I'm like, what's that? I'm like, oh, I know what that is. During the time, Bitcoin was like $1, something crazy, something crazy cheap. Yeah, this had to be 2014, 2015. It might have been 100. But he said $90,000 in Bitcoin, not 90,000 Bitcoin. My fault, correct me. But Yeah, after that, man, I looked into Bitcoin. It was still cheap. And it was 2017, I think it finally smacked off. It went to like 1,000,
Yeah,
and then 1,200, and then that's whenever I was like, you know what, I'm not missing this. I'm putting money.
Yeah, because then it go to like 20,000 or something.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It went to $20,000 in 2018 or 2019, but I was buying Bitcoin at like $1,000, $1,200, and it just kept fluctuating. That's whenever Chainlink and everything else came. I was buying a lot of not XRP but Verge. And there was this other coin, Tron,
Tron, yeah.
Tron. I was buying a lot of Tron on Bittrex. But looking back at it then, whenever I saw Bitcoin at $1,000 and seeing that it came from like $1, that's whenever I was like, you know what, I need to go all in, because he had paid, like today, Bitcoin's what, like $15,000, say $20,000. He paid $90,000 in Bitcoin at the time. Dude, that Nissan GTR cost him, like, I did the math, it was like $50 million. You know what I mean? So it was just like wow. You know what I mean? And after I had finally did that math and I had remembered the movie Dope and I had remembered that he brought that car, I was just like, yeah, I'm going all in. And since then, I've been pretty much heavily invested in cryptocurrency.
That's funny that like media was kind of like your first like influence to get into crypto, because like me, I didn't start with crypto. I started just like with the stock market and stuff.
Okay.
And this is gonna sound super corny, but the movie that got me into that was The Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street.
I
like that movie.
I used to watch that movie religiously, and like you can learn a lot from the movie, and just like I was just like, I gotta get in on this. I'm like, this is crazy. And like it had just influenced. I started off with just like companies that I knew. Like I think I had like Snapchat. I was like, I'm on Snapchat. Like this is about to blow up a little bit. Like Nike, Apple, like basic stuff like that. And
right.
When you really start doing,
were you there for Snapchat's IPO? I brought Snapchat's IPO, and I think it went to like $30.
I didn't see the IPO.
Yeah, I did IPO. Yeah. It was in February, if I'm not mistaken.
I had Snapchat when it was like $5, and like I was because what, you can't start investing until you're 18. I wish I would have had my parents investing for me, but I just remember checking one day and I'm like, yo, like I swear it was at like $60 at one point.
$60.
I'm like,
you was running it up.
I didn't even know. I didn't even really know. I was just like, because I would just check it periodically, and then I got to the point where I was like checking it every day, and even like I would be on there's this website called Open Insider.
Okay.
Where you could look at like what, like, I can't remember what the term they uses, but like you could basically like what really important people are trading. Like you could see like Nancy Pelosi, for example, and like what she buys, what she sells, when it's happening. Like you could, all like government officials and stuff like that, they legally have to disclose all that information and stuff like that. So
that's whenever you first started trying, like basically getting into.
And I started taking it more seriously. Like before, I was just like throwing money in when I had, because like I was just like working at Costco. Like I didn't really have no money or anything like that. But I was just throwing like the best thing. And you talked a little bit about this with investing. Like I remember when I used to get my checks, I used to go 50-50. I used to like keep 50 to spend and then throw the other 50 in reserve. And I ran up like 10 bands over the summer. And I realized kind of after the fact, I was like, my money was just sitting in my bank account, like with horrible interest rates, like not doing nothing for me. And after that, I really started to realize that like you have to do something with your money to make your money make money. Right. It's not going to do nothing just sitting there.
Right. And I agree 100%. My first summer job, it was at Braddock Youth Project. You familiar with BYP?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think they got WYP, but Braddock Youth Project.
Yeah, I heard of WYP.
That's pretty much where I met Fetterman, actually. He's talking about stocks and political and stuff like that. I met Fetterman. He was there a lot. But basically, I had worked there and I was getting paid, I forget how much, I think like $300, $400 a week. But I was spending a lot of that money on, different things because I didn't have a goal. I had to be like 14, 15, something like that. I was like 16, then they promoted me, and then basically the next thing after you become like a student, not a student, but like a summer worker is like becoming part of Miracle. I actually didn't want to do all that, so then that's whenever I pretty much just like pulled back. So I mean, like there's so much stuff like in between that I'm not saying that, man, I did so much stuff in between, but everything that we talked about is like the most important things. But cryptocurrency and stock market is definitely the wave. I say, especially with a recession coming in, a lot of shorts that you should be putting in. And once the shorts get filled, I would say a lot of longs that you put in.
Yeah. Everyone's making a lot of money off shorts right now.
Yeah. You see FTX got shorted. Yeah. Crow got shorted, and then they sent $300 million accidentally to a different wallet. I don't know if y'all saw that.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, Crypto.com sent $300 million to a wallet on accident. And they got it back. This is right after FTX had got caught.
No, that's
exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Exactly. Very fishy, man. So a lot of these companies are getting ran down on. Matter of fact, Mutinates, you saw he just got arrested for $2 million in fraud. He was rug pulling. Logan Paul. You see Logan Paul?
Yeah, Logan Paul. Yeah, he was getting
that.
fired.
He planned that though. He planned that because it dropped and then it went up 15,000% out of nowhere, like literally. So he didn't say nothing until January 3rd, and I think whenever he did say something, January 3rd is whenever it was already up like 10 times or something like that. So you got a lot of them stealing.
Even bro, what was it? Dude with Luna, I don't remember what his name.
Doquan. He killed it.
Bro, he ruined people's lives.
He killed it.
He did. Yeah.
Fact, I'm gonna show you, man. How much Doquan was like? Not Doquan, but Luna was like.
Yeah, Luna was going crazy.
Luna was busted.
It was like 100, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was like 100, man. I want to show y'all something crazy, man. Let me see if I can find it. I'm not gonna take.
What was the other one? Luna. There's a bunch of them. The Dogecoin.
Bro, I remember, bro, sitting. I only threw a little bit of money in Dogecoin, and I just got lucky because like I threw a little bit of money or whatever, and then Elon had tweeted about it, and I immediately sold. And then
you was up.
I was up a little bit, and then I threw a little bit more money in, and I remember, bro, I was at my man's house watching Saturday Night Live because everybody thought that he was going to say something about Doge on Saturday Night Live, and it was going to go crazy. Man, I was looking like such a fan, bro, staring at the TV.
What ended up happening? Ended up going up.
He didn't end up saying nothing.
He didn't say nothing about Doge.
So what did it do? End up going down.
It started going down, and I was like, that's what I get for like.
Investing off hype.
Yeah, literally investing off of hype and not really believing in the currency that I was throwing my money into.
Right. Yeah, I would say that's a huge thing that you want to basically do. Believing in stuff. I done sold so much stuff early. I done sold AMC. Let me see, man. I done sold AMC. Like, for instance,
told me about Hertz.
AMC was, this is old, though. This is like 20, bro. I had like 15 grand in AMC, bro. And it went down to $7 and then ended up going back up to like 30 or something like that.
That was some.
Were you in the GameStop thing, too?
Bro, I was in the GameStop, bro. I was in all of it, bro. But I don't know why I just didn't stick to my gut. I had, like I said before, 8,000. Yeah. I had so much money in AMC, bro, just over, like, I just kept adding to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I sold, and it went to, like, $20, $30 right after, man. I was so mad. So that's whenever pretty much I just got tired of just investing and stuff like that, man. But back to the Luna thing. Man, I was buying Luna at, like, $2, yo, and I sold it at $4. Before it went to $100, it went to $100. I had $1,000, so I made $1,000 and just like, okay, I'm done. But it went to $100. You know what I mean?
Dang, that $10,000.
It's also very important to not get FOMO though.
FOMO, that's
you can't
exactly.
get FOMO, man. Like you just kind of like your gains and your losses, like you just gotta take them at like what they are, and like
right.
If you live with constant FOMO about like I should have did this and should have did that, like it's gonna affect your decision making, like,
right,
immensely, and that's how you really take some like really hard L's.
Right, and that's what I say. What I personally do now is diversify. I put in what I could risk. So now if I feel iffy about, if I feel like it's a 5 to 10x, I put $500 on it and won't blink an eye. I'll just say, okay, cool. But if it's something I believe in, I'll put a lot of money into it. As you can see, like the Dogecoin, man, 38,000 to 500, bro. There was this man named Chain Man, bro, and he just eventually just left the project, and then it went down. It went down to like 10,000, but then it went back up to like 20. I'm like, oh, yeah, we good. It's about to snap back. And it just went down. You know, having that FOMO, because I actually was trying to buy it, because basically, so Docs of Elon came out as an NFT. It was only 1 cent. It went from 1 cent, I brought it in at like 15 cents, all the way to 70 cents. So whenever it went to 70 cents, it kind of started going down. It dropped all the way down to 20 cents, but then it went back up to 35. So it went right above like the DMAC line started touching. So then that's whenever it started going up, like the 5-way pattern was going upwards. And then basically he just left the group chat on Telegram, and then everything started going down. So I was like, you know what? FOMO. This is before I understood what a rug pull was. I'm like, so I don't got FOMO. Let me put some more into it. Okay, let me put some more into it. And then it just kept going down and down and down. So instead of putting what I could invest in, what I could lose, you know what I mean? I put in, honestly, I should have took the whole 38. But in my mind, it was all profit. So I'm in my mind, I'm like, I don't really care about this. But you know what I mean? Had I took it out and did something different, then I would have been more happy at the time. I still made the money, but it was just the simple fact that, like you say, FOMO, I just let it ride all the way down to the bottom. Now it's like 1 cent. Not even 1 cent. It's like 0.001. Something crazy, yeah.
So one of my last questions was, since like all the fast money slowing down, PPP, PUA, and all that, like what would you like suggest for someone like they just have $1,000, their credit's medium, like what could they be doing right now?
I would say go buy a bunch of ebooks and sit and learn. There's a lot of information out there that you can learn from with $1,000. People think $1,000 isn't a lot of money. You could open up an LLC for $160. and then get your DUNS number for free, and then get a cage code. That's for like bid on government contracts for free. Business insurance is $70. So right now we only got like $240. You know what I mean? $240. You can pretty much put yourself in the game as bidding on government contracts. That's what I do on the side now, or even like something as simple as government contracts, life insurance, anything. You know what I mean? Like with a recession coming in, you got to look at what markets are going to thrive. It's going to be the traditional markets. It's going to be the gas. It's going to be life insurance. It's going to be
The essentials, yeah.
essentials, exactly. It's no longer going to be niche markets. Whereas, oh yeah, I'm gonna teach you how to wholesale. You know what? Wholesale might be good for whenever the market's going down.
People are going to be wanting to sell.
Sell, exactly. A lot of
sellers
people,
market.
exactly.
Yeah.
People brought property, they can't keep up with it. So I would say, honestly, you don't even need $1,000, $200, man, and just get your LLC just so you could pretty much have something to put on paper. Because I mean, people think of LLC just like, oh yeah, I own a business. No, it's for tax purposes. You know what I mean? Whenever taxes come around and you want to use write-offs and stuff like that, you get money back. So if you opened an LLC last year and this year you filed your taxes, but you made some money, I mean, you're looking at $4,000 return. So you're $200 and made you $4,000, but you do that for 5 years, you got $20,000. That's a long time. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but like that's 4,000 that you didn't have.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly, and that's not including if you have a main job. You don't have to necessarily make your business a part of your job. But I would say don't take $1,000 and try to trade. I wouldn't say go take $1,000 and pay for a mentorship. I would say don't do any of that. I would honestly say just get yourself an LLC, get your website, because now a lot of companies, in order to get a loan or a business loan, which is what a lot of people want to get, you need a website. People don't know that. They want to see a internet presence. They want to see how long you've been open. They want to see key things. So I would say just open up an LLC and just chill and relax during the whole recession, because during this time, there's going to be some more money. There's politics. I'm not sure if Biden's going to win. I feel like Trump has a good chance of winning, but who knows who's running against Trump.
Yeah.
But if Trump wins, then, a lot of money's going to come in. But I would say, like, right now, man, it's just hard to say. Honestly, anything that you would need to do, you could do with $200. You can wholesale. You could government contracts. You could do referral programs. You could sell ebooks. You could learn about AI technology. You can get certifications for Homeland Security, as we were talking about earlier, and get jobs. You could job stack. Job stacking is something I'm doing. So basically, I got people in India. I'll take a online job to where I just make phone calls and I don't even work the job. It's not illegal. People think it's illegal to have more than one job. You can have more than one job at one time. It's just about, it may be unethical, but it's about whether or not you're doing and you're performing with those jobs. So yeah, I have like 3 jobs right now, and it's like phone jobs, at-home jobs, but I don't actually do the job. I just pay the person 75% salary. I take 25%, and then I just go about my day. But all they're doing is making phone calls, closing leads, and stuff like that. A lot of this stuff, man, it's cheap, man. Trucking dispatching company, you can do anything pretty much with $1,000, but I feel like 200 is the most that you need. Trade lines, I mean, you can buy trade lines. I would say, matter of fact, if you ambitious and your goal is to turn your $1,000 into $10,000, I would say open your LLC, pay for some trade lines, and basically apply for business loan. And once you get the business loan, then try to do what you want to do. Then you go play in the stock market. Then you go buy cars and do all this other stuff. But I would say Turo, not it. Airbnb, not it. Anything like that, not it. That stuff is not sustainable during a recession market. It doesn't work. It's not going to work. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen. Actually, today I actually found this out.
Yeah, because Airbnb, like, when the money's slowing down, people aren't going to want to have rentals.
Exactly. And it's even worse because now, let me bring this up for you guys. When Airbnb said I want to stay here, it's $155 a night. But say if I pick, I want to stay there for, matter of fact, where's the place at? Well, I'll just explain it to you. So now Airbnb used to have to pay the whole amount up front. Now Airbnb has it to where if I want to stay somewhere for 6 months, I just pay on the 10th of every month. So if I want to stay in somewhere down Miami and it's $2,000 a month, I pay my $2,000. Then on the 10th, I pay my $2,000 again. Then on the 10th, I pay my $2,000 again. So now you don't need to pay all that money up front. So it's even coming, like they're even adjusting to the recession because they know people don't want to necessarily rent out.
Right.
Exactly. So, and they know that apartments are charging how much 3 times the rent and stuff like that. And the homelessness in the United States has increased, I think, by like 20% or something like that. Because a lot of people got evictions. So you have rent relief and stuff like that going on. A lot of people have evictions. If you got an eviction, 9 out of 10 times you're not going to get into the next place that you want to get into. So Airbnb's kind of like opening that market to where regular people can rent out decent places and pay month-to-month rent and not have to buy furniture and stuff like that, which is a good market. But yeah, man, sustainable businesses, man. And even those people renting on Airbnb, they're just gonna get bare minimum for the rent. Like down DC, I was looking at a spot down DC, just to drop in and out of DC. It was like $1,000 a month. You know, DC rent like $2,500,
Yeah,
$3,000.
yeah.
So that person is
DC's high.
guaranteed taking a loss, if not they own a place. But everyone on Airbnb is taking a loss right now. It's just a sad market. Renting out cars. Not that many people renting out cars. If you go past Enterprise has a whole lot full.
Yeah, a lot of people are stuck in those. Like when everyone was starting up like all their fleets, a lot of people are still stuck in those leases.
Exactly.
Like Carvana put themselves in a really bad situation.
Right.
Like, there's a recession going on, like, and they bought all those cars. They got, what's the one out like by Topgolf? They have the little vending machine. With
Right, the
cars
vending
or
machine
whatever.
just slides down.
And like, I mean, they put like a lot of their upfront capital in cars, and now we in a market where like
The cars are dropping. Everything's dropping in value,
Exactly.
and that's why I say, like, overall, man, I don't really like I don't like coaches. I don't like coaches because they sell dreams. They don't tell you the truth, and they don't tell you if they winning or losing. A lot of people, they have even the people down
They only
Atlanta.
tell you the wins.
Exactly. They only tell you the wins. Like some people, I know a guy down Atlanta. He has a Lamborghini and Rolls Royce and all this other stuff. Well, I don't personally know, but I just know just from observing whenever someone's on decline. He used to go from never promoting a car online to basically just renting out 2 rows. He got his private rental company to now it's anyone want to pick this up $400 a day Lamborghini truck. It's like, damn, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you should have known to get rid of the Lamborghini or something like that. But at the same time, now his classes went from $3,000 to like $1,000. So it's just you kind of see people getting into a crunch, and now that they're in a crunch, they have no other options but to take losses. You know what I mean? So I would say also with your $1,000, buy some ebooks on how to take advantage of other people's assets. Something that I'm doing right now is I actually run ads and I find people who can't afford their car notes or maybe even repossessed. And it's not my lease, so what I do is I sign a contract with them. I get their car out of the pound, or maybe I'll take over their payments, but now I'm going to rent their car out. But now I'm just paying the bare minimum. I don't have no loans. I'm going to pay $500 for your car. You have no other choice because you can't afford it or it gets repossessed. So I'm going to go rent your car out for $100 a day. And whenever I choose to stop, I can just pay you that last payment and be like, I don't want your car no more. I don't have any loans. I don't have any obligations. You know what I mean? Like, basically, you want to capitalize off of that. If someone's having a house, like you were talking about, wholesaling, and they're desperate to sell it,
Yeah.
capitalize off of that. If someone needs workers, then you just open up an agency, staffing agency. You know what I mean? Then you hire people throughout that. So basically, I would say during a recession, capitalize off of people's losses and where people don't want to work. Staffing agencies are going to be one of the biggest things. Most jobs don't even want to do W-2s. They want to do 1099 so they can avoid workers' comp and insurance and stuff like that. So just capitalize off of people's losses and this year, 2023, and take advantage of the recession because I think it's going to be for the best of people who are entrepreneurs. A lot of people that have high-end items such as shoes and stuff like that, they're going to be selling them at a loss. The shoes are starting to go down. I think it's a good time for you to
market.
I think it's a good time to, recollect. Everyone's going to be selling their lost and founds in too much for $200-$300 just to pay for rent. You know what I mean? People that brought 10 of them StockX are selling fakes now. You can't verify it. You know what I mean? It's looking bad for 2023 if you're a consumer. But if you're one of those people that's going to basically take advantage of the recession and reach out to people, that's the only thing. You got to be willing to reach out to people and exploit their losses. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bad thing. It looks bad, but it's unethical in a way. But if you can't afford your car or you can't afford your rent, do you want to pay it or do you not want to pay it? You know what I mean? If I'm not doing it, someone else is not going to do it. And that's similar to like the recession back in 2008, whenever they were just putting a bundle of loans together in bonds and stuff like that, and then just stacking them until they fell out. And what happened? The government eventually bonded them out. So I think we're in something similar to that, but I would say this time no one's getting bonded out. And not bonded out, but paid out. And I say that because they already gave out so much money during the pandemic. And if they are giving out money and they are bailing people out, that's what I mean, bailing people out, then basically it's going to be real ugly because they're only printing more money. They gave out billions of dollars in PPP. They gave out billions of dollars in taxes. I just read something like they got $3 trillion unaccounted for Treasury. The Treasury don't know where $3 trillion is. So they're just going to keep printing money. If that happens and continues to happen, then we're looking at an even worse crisis. And I would say 2024 wouldn't even be the time for the U.S. or even the economy to recuperate. I would say even longer than that, especially with technology. AI technology is going to take a lot of jobs. So,
A lot of jobs.
right.
I just seen on Instagram like someone had their first AI lawyer defending them.
Right, yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I seen it. I said, what the heck?
Right, yeah, the AI now that they have, man. So whenever like they got this thing, it's called Chat GPT. Most
Yeah,
people
I use that for. I'm not gonna say what I use it for. But I use it.
Familiar with the platform. Just familiar with the platform.
Familiar with the platform.
Yeah, so for instance, Google, you look up an answer. The answer is on Google, but it gives you 20 answers. I ask the AI bot, the bot's gonna give me the exact answer I want. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to come to a time to where people aren't even going to have to, like, I'm not going to need the lawyer. I'm not going to need someone to write my papers no more. I'm not going to need someone to ask questions to. I'm not going to need a financial planner. I'm just tell this AI bot, hey, I have this many, I got this many bills coming in. I make this amount of money. Give me a financial plan. It's going to give you a financial plan. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to need a TA, a virtual assistant, a VA. You're not going to need a virtual assistant. You're not going to need any of that stuff because technology is essentially going to take over, and I guess that would tie back into like the social scores and a lot of stuff that's coming on. Technology is a scary thing, but I would say it's for the best, just for the simple fact that, you know what? I'll say this.
You got to take advantage of it.
Exactly. You got to take advantage of it.
It's just kind of hard to know how to exactly take advantage of it, like to line up for like the best for you.
Right. Exactly.
Because everyone can't code or like, yeah.
Right.
But you could do something that people realize, like, even if you like can't code or you can't do whatever, like, there is some like facet in which technology can be used to your benefit. It's really just about, are you willing to do the due diligence and the research to figure out how it works for you?
Exactly. Like right now, man, I got so much stuff going on with chat and all this other stuff going on with the AI stuff, man. It's not even funny, and you wouldn't even know I'm behind it. But I'm gonna be making so much money, yo, down the line, just using the AI technology. Because pretty soon, I mean, it's gonna pop, but I think it's gonna reject. People aren't going to be able to adapt fast enough to the AI, and then that's where the real opportunity is going to be.
Rebel against it.
Exactly.
But like, man, I always think about this. Like, they're going to rebel against it at first, but eventually it's going to break
through. They're going to have to accept.
I think about, like, this is like a super basic thing, but remember when the iPhones used to have the headphone jack?
Right.
And everybody was tripping about, and they changed it to the lightning or whatever. And everybody was tripping about, oh, I'm not going to buy the adapter. I'm not going to do this.
Right. And then they just adapt it.
And what do we do now? Nobody got the little 3.5 millimeter jack at all. Like,
right. No, that's a fact, man. And I would say pretty much adapting was what the whole pandemic was about to me. Universal income is what's going to come next. And that's why I say social score is so important than a universal income. Think about it. Unemployment was basically universal income for everyone. And think about it. During those times, everyone was the most happiest. So if they're able to give everyone a $600 check every week.
Dystopia.
Yeah, exactly.
Utopia, yeah.
You know what I mean? Everyone's going to be living the best life. But at that point, 1942 is now just regular. The club's just regular. So then there's going to be certain different type of heights of dopamine, which basically like the rush. Like you're going to have to do crazy stuff to get a rush. That's kind of like why you see your boy, Mr. Beast, doing a lot of things. Mr. Beast does a lot of wild stuff because it's selling a dream, but at the same time, it's kind of like, is it possible? Like someone asked me the other day, like I think he's in Antarctica or something like that, seeing if he could survive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you really think he don't got a helicopter above him at all times to make sure he don't die? You know what I mean? But people watching it don't understand what's behind the camera.
They just locked into like the smoke and mirrors really, and like they're not
exactly.
Really, again, like seeing things for face value. I really don't understand it. Like it's all shock value, really.
Right.
And like most people aren't willing to do the stuff, even if he really does it or doesn't do it. People aren't willing to do it themselves, so they tune in for like just to see like
if it's possible,
or is somebody even willing to put themselves through whatever it takes to get to whatever the end goal is, which I don't know. Some of them end goals don't.
And
really
what does that seem? That sounds like now it sounds like you ever watch Divergent? Now it sounds like people going and go do crazy stuff. Now it sounds like Squid Games.
Yeah,
that's basically what it is. It's basically Squid Games at that point. You know what I mean? That's communism. You know what I mean? Like the simple fact that he did exactly what Willy Wonka did and had chocolate bars with golden tickets in it is like, wow, people's buying 1,000 golden chocolate bars just to get the golden ticket. You know what I mean? Like they're doing all types of wild stuff.
And they don't even know what the golden ticket was behind, but like just like the idea, and even like I think you made a good point earlier about like when people like dropping their you said one bro was selling the Clash for like 3K and he dropped it at 1K. Like sometimes people don't even really like know the value or whatever that they're getting from something, but if they see a high price tag, they just automatically assume like oh, like if it costs this much, like I might as well put my money. It has to be that good. Like
man, I was selling an ebook. I sold the ebook on how to start LLCs and get business credit for like 99 cents. But if you go on LegalZoom and you get all that done, it's like 700. I think out of everyone that clicked the link, because it tells me click the link. Excuse me, only like 4 people brought it or something like that. But they'll pay LegalZoom because they feel like LegalZoom knows what has happened. I'm like, these are the exact links. These are like, I'm smarter than LegalZoom. Basically, I would like to say like these are exact links, and it's from Pennsylvania. Like you don't need to wait, and you're going to get this done in a month. You know what I mean? You'll be set up in a month.
Because it's 99 cents or whatever people are like, and that's
it can't be realistic, right? But what do I need 99 cents for? You know what I mean? I'm just trying to give it away. I just can't give it away. So give me 99 cents. I'll write it off on the back end for $9. I mean $20 or $1,000. Yeah, I did a promo. Everyone got it for 99 cents. And really, I charged $1,000. So now I got $30,000 right off at the end of the year. That's what like Tony, you know Tony Closer?
nah.
You familiar with Tony Closer? He's a real estate guy, man. He had these classes that was for $2,000, and he actually did like a study. Now, like if you click his link, I think he took it down, but he has it to where you could pay whatever, but it just has to be above $10. So whatever you think it's worth, that's what you pay. He has like 2 million followers or something like that. You know what I mean? So like, I want to say like 1 million people signed up. So he made $10 million just asking people just pay whatever you feel like. You know what I mean? Some people pay $10 just paying the bare minimum. Some people paid $1,000. Some people paid more. You know what I mean? So I think that's going to be a new thing so far as whenever you're pricing your stuff, just what do you want to pay? And whenever someone tells you what do you want to pay, that's whenever you tell them, okay, yeah, I can do that. That's pretty much what like salesmen do. They ask you what budget are you comfortable with? When can you have the money? And then it works like that. Think about rent. How much do you want to pay for this room? You want to pay 200, 300, 400. You tell me what's comfortable. 250. I can't do 250, but I can do 300. I was already sold at 200. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm gonna take the extra $50 because you already said your lowest amount. People say the lowest amount that they want to pay.
What they say, the person that says their number first is the one that loses.
Loses every time, man. Every time. So yeah, I would definitely say the people pay a lot of money for things and think they're getting the best quality when really they're just getting BS quality. You know what I mean? Like the bare minimum. It's just the name behind it at the end of the day. A lot of things have I mean that's how it ran now with Instagram and social media. The name means everything. There's shoes that look just like Balenciagas that cost $100. You know what I mean? There's like for instance, Aeropostale and Abercrombie was basically the same thing during the time. But
yeah, I remember that, but they make fun of you for having Aeropostale.
Yeah, but it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Same quality. I think they get owned by each other.
I think they're owned by the same people.
Yeah, they're owned by the same parent company, exactly. But because it's $50 more, or double the price, it's valued higher. That's crazy to me. You know what I mean? But take advantage. Overall, what I would say is anything that we've talked about during the podcast that was negative, I would say take advantage and exploit that. If people losing their cars, exploit that. People losing their houses, exploit that. If people need services and no one else has them, exploit that. Because at the end of the day, if you don't, someone else is going to do it. And it's dog eat man out here. So you just got to make sure that you're the first one of things and that you're running it.
You have no excuse no more because he just gave you like 10 steps to flip your $1,000,
right.
$200,
right.
$100.
I'll say it again. I'll say it again.
Come on.
You start an LLC. You get a logo. You can actually have an AI bot. You know what I mean? Do your logo. I'm going to wink at you because I ain't giving that away, though. But you can do that. You can get your DUNS number. Once you do that, you go and get your cage code. It's called a cage code. It's on a government website, and you can bid on government contracts. So what you want to do is, with the rest of the money, is you want to get a business loan. You take that business loan. Now you're able to fulfill some of those government contracts with your business loan money, and you get paid as soon as it's done. That's one. You can also start a life insurance company, or not even start one. You could just work for a company and then do commission. Instead of telling people that you're selling them life insurance for whenever they die, explain to them that you can actually use it to borrow against your life insurance. People don't know you can even borrow against your life insurance. If you have life insurance and you paid out like $20,000, $30,000, you could borrow up to like $250,000 against your own life insurance. But whenever you die, instead of getting $500,000, you get $250,000 now. But you know what I mean? With that money, that capital, you should already have a plan.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's one. So we got government contracting, we got insurance. There's another one. You could, like I said, not even own any cars. Just have some capital, find people who's falling behind on their cars, and take their cars and you rent them out. You have a sublease contract to where they're okay with anything that you do with their car. You accept responsibility for the maintenance and you make sure you get the cars checked and everything else, and just cover all ends. That's another one. I mean, wholesaling, that's a formal idea or a formal way of making money in a recession. You just go out, and I would say this, Maxwell. Look up Maxwell. Maxwell is a person, he's a big wholesaler. He's black. He gives you a bundle. You don't no longer have to ride around and find places. You can go on his website, and basically he'll explain, not even explain, You could just put in an area and it'll generate 1,000 lead properties with the address, the name, everything. It'll run a whole query and it costs you less than 10 cents. So now you got 1,000 addresses with all the numbers and emails for 10 cents. But then for another 5 cents, I believe he sends out the letters. He has a company that sends out the letters. So now you're able to do all of that for like 20, like not even like 20 cents, like a little less than 20 cents. You're able to get and reach out to 1,000 people about their homes. And the website tells you the equity that they have in the home. They tell you where it's located, the last cash buy, the ROI, all of that. So yeah, I mean, if you don't want to wholesale, then what you do is you just find a hard money lender. You go on his website and you do the math and see what the ARV is, the after repair value, and you break that down to them. And then you find homes and you target homes that already have equity in them, if not free and clear. So yeah, I mean, that's wholesaling. Besides that, as we were talking about earlier, you got all these certifications that's going on. You could do Homeland Security certification, cybersecurity. Think about how many small cybersecurity companies there are. There's none. Like there's some, but there's none. You know what I mean? Not no one advertising.
Not on scale.
You got Oracle, you got SAP, you got companies like that, but there's no small cybersecurity companies, and small companies are essentially going to need cybersecurity for their business. The government's going to have some type of law in place where as a small business, if you have or deal with more than 10 people's private information, that you must have cybersecurity involved to make sure and protect those people's information.
That's a good need-based business.
Exactly.
Especially with everything going digital, like digiverse is like people like the pandemic kind of forced us into like the digital verse, and like a lot of people are comfortable staying in there too. And like even like beyond that, it's like the way the world's going. Like this is going to be a necessity. And like if not you, somebody else is going to do it. So why not you?
Man, I want to show you something. One last thing I want to show you. This is crazy. You ever hear of Decentraland?
Is that where you could buy real estate online or crypto?
Exactly. So it used to just be like real estate, right? And then they made it to
Like
where you
boats
can
and stuff?
gamble, right?
You could gamble on there?
You can gamble. You could go to the casino. You can gamble. Then they had Fashion Week. That's whenever Mana Coin went from 30 cents to $5. They had like a New York runway there, right? So after that, I just found this out recently. So all of that's good and all. You can buy a property, but now they make it to where, I want to show the camera this. You can actually rent property day by day in the metaverse. So Decentraland's 45 for $50, 50 Decentraland Mana Coin a day. $17 a day.
90 days, you make 40. Dang.
So you know what I mean? Like that's $17 a day. So and that's in the virtual world. People are renting property in a virtual world.
That's ridiculous to me.
$17 a day times 30, bro. That's $510. And that's like that. This was in a poor area. This is like a poor area of. This is like a poor district.
A poor
district in Decentraland. Exactly.
Poor areas in the
This is a fashion virtual
God.
reality shopping. Exactly. West Plaza. It's the fashion district, but it's the poor side of fashion district. So you got people paying $17 a day. So whenever it becomes adoptable, you can easily see it being $50 a day. Well, that's times 30. That's $1,500 a month off a digital asset.
You don't gotta do no real management.
You don't gotta do no real management.
You don't gotta hear about no leaky pipes.
Nothing, man. No, nothing. And you gotta figure, man, a lot of this is gonna have to do something with Oculus. I don't know if you guys have been on Oculus lately.
Yeah, Oculus.
Man, Oculus is crazy.
You can talk to people in there.
Bro, you can talk,
you
man.
Can go, hang out with people.
Bro, you can hang, really have conversations, network.
Movies.
You know, it's actually powered by Polygon.
Damn.
Yeah, it's powered by Polygon. Yeah, it's powered by Polygon, bro. You can make your own club. The whole thing is just gonna be digital, bro. And I think that's also something that the COVID had made a huge impact on. How much they were able to stop people from going outside and just to stay inside and be on the internet. Because during that time,
they trained your mind.
They got comfortable with it. That's why people don't want to go back to work.
Exactly.
Like people don't.
Comfortability. Exactly.
People don't want to go to work.
Yeah, like people would just rather work remotely and things like that. And like businesses are having a very difficult time trying to get their employees back because like it had to be like the new norm. And I mean, from now on, like it really pretty much is the norm now.
Right, yeah, at home job. That's why I said job stacking, man. Job stacking until there ain't no more jobs. And then essentially, like now a mailman gets paid like what? $30 an hour, 25, probably like 25. I would say a mailman used to get paid like $26, $27 an hour.
Mailmen used to be like the highest paid people in the
Man,
world.
Amazon get paid $20 an hour now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Time and a half, you get 20, you get as much as the mailman. So like inflation is crazy how those jobs that essentially we grew up looking up to are like regular paying jobs now. Like 50K salary used to be real good, but now 50K salary is like okay, you just now able to survive. You know what I mean? You're not actually able to take vacations and stuff yet.
Facts, bro. I just heard one of my coworkers. He's an
Especially after taxes.
After tax you get 35.
Like, swear, I was just talking to one of my coworkers, and like he's like an older dude or whatever, and he was telling me, he was like, yeah, I made $70,000 last year, and he was like geeked about it, and I'm like thinking in my head like, nah, bro, like that's
not a lot.
you can't be like.
I swear, the average person only makes like 26, I think.
26.
Yeah, it's 26.
It's crazy, man.
And that's in PA too. Like the average person in PA makes like 26,000.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, and you
That's not
got
even
to
like
figure
$15
it's just
an hour, I don't think.
it's, even with inflation, it's just like how are these people affording rent? Because now rent's $1,000, but then after $1,000, you figure like the average person is getting paid $400 or $500 a week. They're getting bi-weekly $1,000 check. So how they gonna afford rent and food and all this other stuff? And they gotta pay $1,000 in rent alone. Car notes $500. They paying $1,500. Then insurance is $300. You know what I mean? Like it just don't add up. And that's why I ask myself sometimes, like, where are all these people gonna go? Because there's only but so much, you know what I mean? Inflation and raising prices that they can do until it becomes a point to where
It's
now
gonna be a real big wealth gap.
exactly.
And it's
Poor or
already
rich.
huge
There's no
too.
like middle class. Like the middle class is gonna be gone.
Even like
Exactly.
here in Pittsburgh, like the black and white wealth disparity in just Pittsburgh alone is the greatest in the nation. Like that's crazy to me.
Like for instance, hey, I'll show you. This is my dad's check. How much did I say he made?
Wow.
98,000, right?
98,000, yeah.
All right. Now look at this. Look how much he took home. 62,000.
Like
They took $30,000 in taxes. $32,000 in taxes.
Dang.
That's crazy. You know what I mean? That's crazy. Like
Yeah, so, you make
so
like
now,
7, you're gonna make like 50.
right. So now it's crazy how now the 1% still $100,000. Not the 1%, top 10% still $100,000. Because really $100,000 is $60,000. So now it's like this. What you know what I mean? Like you really got to shoot for $200,000 in order to make that $100,000. And that $200,000, we're not even talking about a degree now. Now we're talking about if you're a lawyer, a doctor, or you're an entrepreneur.
not to mention like you probably got like mad loans and stuff because it was crazy. Like they don't even unless you're like upper echelon like. But like you don't get no type of scholarship like med school and stuff like that because they're just like
Right.
oh like you'll make like later on down the line you're gonna make crazy money and it's
Right.
like that don't work for everybody, especially like you somebody from like a lower like a lower socioeconomic class and you really like grinded and hustled your way to get to be like be a lawyer, be a doctor or whatever. Like you really can't like that's not feasible for you.
Right, exactly, and I feel like that's where it's crazy at because you figure like right now the average person probably has like a $400. I thought it was like $300 a student loan, $400. Some people's student loan would be $1,000. I'm like, so you got $1,000 student loan, you got $1,000 car note. Because right now the average car note is like $700 to $1,000. Yeah, $1,000 a month.
Whoa, I'm having
Yeah,
that.
so just with the insurance, your car note, insurance $300, your car note say $500, you at $800. Then your student loan will say $400, you at $1,200. Then your rent, you at $2,200. Then say like you're $2,200 alone. Yeah, I mean you only making what times 12? That's like pushing $28,000. Yeah, I mean you only making $30,000. How you gonna live? How you gonna survive? That's not including food,
You want to go
accidents,
out sometimes.
going out, vacations, nothing. You know what I mean? And $1,000, like I mean, if we doing the math right now, cause I'm a math person, man. I love math. If you make $30 an hour and you working the traditional 40 hours a week, you only making $1,200. After taxes, you making like $900. You know what I mean? So 9 times the 4, you making $3,600, $2,200. That's going to bills alone.
I swear, I had like an internship in the summer. I was making like 30. Still felt like I wasn't making nothing.
Right.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
was like-
30.
Swear, bro, looking at
Seriously.
that breakdown of the taxes was a hurt piece. I was like, oh my
Gosh,
goodness.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's why I be trying to tell people, man. Like, for instance, the average person right now is making, like, I would say a minimum of $15 an hour. You're making $15 an hour and you going to work for 60 hours. You know what I mean? 60 hours divided by 7, that's 8 hours a day. You know what I mean? If you divide that 60 by 5, you're gonna work for 12 hours. You know what I mean? So you putting in 60 hours, you're making 15. That's $900 a week. After tax, you're getting $700. That's $2,800. We just said $2,200 is going to, you know what I mean? Yeah.
What you gotta save, like
You don't got no money.
Mm-mm.
It ain't no money, man. You know what I mean? And it's just crazy. I just don't see how, like, especially with the recession, how all this is going to transpire and merge because they've already made regular workers make $20 an hour. So how much more can they go up without increasing
So
the
we can make
formal?
20 to McDonald's or something.
Exactly. How much more can they increase regular pay without increasing everybody else's pay. Like a trash can, like a garbage man now should be making $80,000-$90,000. You know what I mean? Instead of getting paid 30, they should be getting paid 40 if everyone else is getting paid 25, 20.
I just saw this thing in New York, just like between just because like the worker shortage and like overtime and then like what's it called? And then like hazard pay and stuff like that. There was some garbage men in New York City bringing in like $300 a year.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it, yo. I believe it because New York's one of them places to where they need those work. People don't want to do that in New York, so they need those workers, and it's a union. So with a union, that's also something that I had missed. A lot of those jobs that are still high paying are union jobs. If you're not in a union, then you're pretty much cut out because a union can argue what they want to get paid.
Yeah, they're like your defense.
Exactly. Whereas if you're working for a formal company, it's like you gotta take this $30 and just be quiet. You can't do nothing else. Nah, you want to leave? Just leave.
You got something to say, we'll find somebody to replace you.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I feel like in America is not job security and safety. You know what I mean? That's not really a big thing no more because everyone's just gig working and everyone's doing 1099 work. With 1099 work, you don't have no job security. You can get dropped today, you can get dropped tomorrow. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how good you perform or what it is. Someone else could just cut you out the game and then now you're looking for a new job. In a lot of places that are requiring you to get a new job, it's not like it's not high-paying jobs. But I would say another thing to add to like the whole job thing. During this recession, I would say land you a high-paying, not even a high-paying, a high-role job. Because since everyone doesn't want to work right now, there's probably a lot of jobs, like management jobs that are open that will pay later on. Well, you know what I mean? Because pretty soon everyone's going to have to get a job. And once they get a job, there's going to be only a certain amount of jobs. Like I think $250,000 jobs open, but over like 300,000 people had applied in the U.S. I just had read that on Business Insider. So it was like there's no sign of a recession yet, but everything else is screaming recession. It's like, come on now, how can I say a recession's not coming? And
all the signs there.
All the signs are there, exactly. So that's even scarier during a recession that it could just, I feel like we could just wake up one day and it's just, bam, that's over. Dow's down 1,000 points. You know what I mean? Like something crazy is going on, especially with all these Bitcoin billionaires dying and rug pulls and stuff like that. You got a lot of money getting circulated, and it kind of seems like the government itself is trying to go after those resources. You know what I mean? Kind of like recoup from what they've been putting out for the past couple of years.
And the government, the government's taking a lot of big losses too. Like all that PPP stuff. Right. Like the banks aren't responsible for that. Right. The government has to like any fraud that gets detected. That's a straight government loss.
Right.
Yeah, you think they're not coming to get there?
And pretty soon they're gonna have like their stable coin, and it's gonna be like the digital US online coin. Yeah.
So that's the thing with XRP. They don't like XRP because it transfers fast, and they were already using it in England. So London. So basically, XRP was the whole argument was whether or not they were security token.
Yeah.
But really, it was more so about how fast and how adaptable it was. A lot of people are using XRP. Whenever they even did an airdrop, it still went up. It went to like $2 or $3, something like that, and still stayed stable. The government, they don't want that happening. You know what I mean? Like for instance, Sam Bankman. I don't know if you guys know. Like he was donating money to politicians, liberals. Yeah. And he was also donating money in Ukraine. So there was a whole lot of a whole lot of laundering and stuff going on. And you ask yourself like, why is the government focusing so much on cryptocurrency, and why are these billionaires dying, and why is all this other stuff going on? It's because, think about it, how many billionaires done died in the past, like 3 months, like 4 or 5 of them?
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Where's their cryptocurrency?
Locked up.
Not even, who you think got their cryptocurrency before they died? You know what I mean?
Snatched
it. They got it. They snatched it, bro. So it's like, pretty soon they're going to control some of the stuff. Like, for instance, Sam Bankman is free right now. Why is he free? You know what I mean? Like, they let him bond out on $200 million or $100 million. And no one else, all his girlfriends, I don't know if y'all saw that, but each one of the assistants were like his wife or like his girlfriends. None of them went to jail. You know what I mean? They let him bond out. Why? Because more than likely, they're either going to give him a platform to where they can control what's going on, and they're going to give him some type of probation. You know what I mean? They just want to have control. Or he's giving up some assets. Because, I mean, like, people think Elon Musk is the richest person. Well, figure, if there's a Bitcoin billionaire out there, what makes you think he make 100 times his money on Luna? You know what I mean? On Shiba or anything like that. But there's probably trillionaires. That's what I'm saying.
Like the richest people, like do you think they really be dumb enough to have the richest people or who they say are the richest people in front of our face all the time? You don't see them people, bro.
Right, exactly.
You don't see those.
They're not
Exactly. Like the owner of Bitcoin, he just died all of a sudden, and all this other stuff is going on. It's just like cryptocurrency. Whenever you say stable coin, man, it bugs me out so much because It just ties into the AI. It ties into the social score. It ties into XRP. Like they have something called Steam. Are you familiar with Steam?
Yeah.
Steam, it basically you go live and you get paid for doing stuff. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. But XRP is just going to be one of those coins to where they can send it all around because they can now control it. You know what I mean? That was the whole thing. They want to control what's going on. XRP was like one of the biggest cryptocurrencies getting traded on a daily basis. It was like the gas fees were even cheaper than Ethereum and at the time, and that's why they had got ran down on. But now I see the government just basically seizing a lot of cryptocurrency and then pretty much like, okay, you know what? Cryptocurrency is a thing. Like, if you do your taxes now, they ask you, do you have an NFT?
Yeah, I was about to ask you that. They asked you that you have an NFT.
Do you have an NFT? Like, y'all wasn't asking about this last year. Now y'all care about NFTs. Now y'all want to do capital gains on my NFT, and I ain't even sold it yet. You know what I mean? Now they're running down on everybody. So, I mean, it's going to be, it's scary, but it's not. It's scary. I like it because for the people that are authentic, they're going to be able to win. And a lot of scams will get cracked down upon. And then also, not only that, but it's a lot of opportunity for people that are into the technology, you know what I mean? The increase of technology and the redevelopment of the world as a whole, because a lot of this stuff is going to be built off of technology. We're looking at a whole different aspect of life with bots and stuff like that taking over jobs. Engineers are no longer needed. You know what I mean? Like they could just have an AI bot do the engineer's work. So now I think our biggest worry in the future is going to be whether or not the AI bots can start gaining their own conscious. You know what I mean? And learning how to think on their own.
And they start talking about that a little bit. Like, there are some situations where
there's robots that could do everything.
Right.
And people think their job security is safe, man. Like that.
Right. Nah, not at all, man. Not at all.
Get the bag
If I needed a 10-page paper, you know what I mean? I can get it written in
exactly
2 minutes, not even 2 minutes, and it's not gonna be no plagiarism in it.
Yeah, you can
no grammar issues, anything. Yeah,
you can even put, add sources.
Yeah, add sources. You know what I mean? You can do all types of stuff.
They're just got to change the school system. Like our way of learning everything is got to rework.
They actually got I forgot his name, man. Some guy built a website, and it's basically for professors to check and see whether or not they're AI written, like the essays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they're trying to catch it, but there's so much. I think number 4 comes out like next month or something like that. So as much as they try to change it or catch up with it, it's kind of like scams. They're not gonna be able to catch it until it's just late.
Jailbreak for the iPhone.
Exactly.
They kept trying to catch it.
Like for instance, whenever they like right now, they're probably most schools aren't probably paying for their subscription to check the essays, but it's gonna be people next year once it's washed out. That's true. Oh yeah, I could just write my essay on there, and they're gonna get caught while next person doing something different. You know what I mean? It's a cat and mouse game overall with technology, and yeah, it's gonna get crazy. I think Elon releases like Neuralink with the monkey. I don't know if you guys watched that. Neuralink, he hooked up the chip in a monkey's brain, and the monkey was remembering patterns without even like seeing it. Like they'll light it up one time, and then the monkey will follow that pattern without it even lighting up. So remember, and then it would feed them and stuff like that. So, but the Neuralink is basically to give the nerves out through your body the feeling. So if you couldn't if you couldn't walk at a point in time, now you can walk. If you couldn't do certain things, it gives you access to like all of your whole brain, if that makes sense. So, I mean, Elon's an interesting person. Sometimes I even question whether or not Elon's human.
Yeah, they're gonna take over everything.
Yeah, literally, there's a lot going on.
I got one more question, man. I gotta ask this, man. Tell us about the drip, man. Tell us about the drip you got on the day.
Man,
a little less serious. A little less serious.
He's funny. I actually got this at a gun show. It was like $400. It's a real red fox. It's a real red fox. He caught it, killed it, taxidermed it. This shirt, I think it's from like Nordstrom, man. It's a regular t-shirt. It's like $100 in there. The boot cut jeans. They're not boot cut, straight leg. These is YSL jeans. I actually thrifted them down Houston whenever I was down there. They wasn't that much, but I worried about them from the store. They were a lot. And then other than that, man, the Bottega's on. I'm not really in the drip no more, man, like I used to be. Only because a lot of people, first, I would say this. I found myself buying so much Louis Vuitton and stuff like that, and then selling it right after just because I didn't care for it.
Yeah, it's like once you buy it, it's like
you don't even care.
I don't know why I wanted this so much.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know why I wanted this so much. Yeah, it's
so now it's just like, man, I don't even care to wear like hype beast stuff no more. I mean, Jordans don't always have their value, but like for instance, I got on $600 Bottega shoes, and now they're probably worth like $300, $250. You know what I mean? Like I just don't believe in investing and depreciating the assets no more. And I found a lot of my money was spent on clothing that I would just either give away or just sell it just because I didn't even care. I'm just tired of looking at this. I got too many shoes. I'm gonna sell it. You know what I mean? So so for a drip, man, I used to be into it back in like 2014, like during ASAP's prime. You know what I mean? And then I was making my own clothing. I was into Jeremy Scott's. I was into all the Pinnacle Fours and stuff like that, all the hype beast stuff, Off-White, and then eventually once it became mainstream, I just like nah.
It's too late.
Didn't you have those Off-Whites? The Bread Off-Whites.
Yeah, I had the. You said which ones?
The ones.
The ones. Yeah, I had the Chicago Off-Whites. I actually got them. I actually got them from. Shout out to Closed Minded. I got them from Closed Minded, yo. I brought them for like $1,200, and I sold them to Anthony's Locker.
That's a good price.
I sold them to Anthony's Locker for $1,500. Those shoes today's worth like what, like $10,000?
Yeah, but it's had some crazy. Yeah, it's
I don't know.
Virgil Pass, but the value on his stuff is just skyrocketed.
Right, exactly. I just sold some lot 50s for like $700.
The black or the white ones?
The black ones, the black and purple ones. Yeah, I swear. So it went down, but I think all of Virgil stuff, just because they're all timeless pieces, down the line will eventually go up. Virgil is an interesting person, man.
And also, if y'all don't know, Virgil put out a lot of free game. I mean, he got the website. What is it called? It's basically like a website about like how to
teaches you how to create a brand.
How to create a brand.
He has a YouTube channel. It's just called
dope.
Virgil. He has like a YouTube channel and he has like videos like he released before he died.
Really?
Just like free game.
That's
like
crazy.
15, 10 videos.
Stuff like that be kind of weird to me.
You ever heard of like Hypeland?
Hypeland.
It's like a real big clothing company. He's like focused on anime, and then he was actually on his YouTube channel. And Virgil was like mentoring him, telling him advice, and then his clothing brand like blew up.
Wow, that's dope.
And that same free advice is on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's dope, man. A lot of that stuff be kind of weird to me. It's crazy how Virgil was like one of the first black, well, not African American, but we'll just say black, fair-skinned people. Not fair-skinned, but not fair-skinned people to deal with Louis Vuitton. Then he died like 4 years later, and then you got Black Panther. I'm not real conspiracist, but it's just certain things. I feel like when people say Matrix, I'm like, man, there got to be something happening because there's no way some of the greatest people that were entertainers or fashion designers died from some rare form of cancer and stuff like that. Down the line, you know what I mean? Like cancer. Yeah, both of them died from cancer, right?
Yeah.
A rare form of cancer. Like, that's just wild. So Black Panther, I chose to pick him for this role, and then he dies 2 years later, you know what I mean?
I think that's also like a problem in our community, though.
We don't check our health.
Yeah, because my dad, he passed away from cancer, too.
Really?
So, yeah, like a lot of black men are dying from cancer, yeah.
I agree. I actually got, what's it called? What is that? Biopsy. I got a biopsy scheduled, so I'm going to get a biopsy now, and then I'm going to get them every like 5 years.
Yeah, it's definitely good because
So
if you catch it early enough, you can beat it real fast.
Man.
Yeah,
Right.
There ain't no shame in like asking. I think that's another big thing to me. Like, there's no shame in asking for help, man.
Right.
Like what they say, like a village raised a child. Like you can't expect to do. You cannot even expect. You can't do everything on your own. Like it's just like it's really not feasible.
Right.
But it's also important, like you kind of talked about earlier, to make sure you have those good people in your circle.
Right.
Because there's a lot of good people on your lawn, but there's also a lot of snakes in the grass.
Right, exactly. And also with the health thing, you figure a lot of you guys, not even a lot, but majority of African Americans are that live in poverty. Healthcare is free whenever you're poor. So, yeah, I mean, like as much as like you might have went to the dentist and it was free, but it might have cost you $700. Like right now, like braces. If you go get braces, now it's like $3,000 and you don't got no insurance.
Yeah,
it's like $3,000, $5,000. You know what I mean? So take advantage of that stuff while you're still young and while it's still available because once you get older, that's when people be having all missing teeth and you know what I mean? And my dad always makes this joke, if you get your teeth pulled late, your wisdom teeth actually affects your nerve in your lip, and then that's where you see some older people with like a lip that's like a little bit limp or is sagging or whatever the case is because they didn't get a tooth pulled early on. So now it's something you can never gain back a nerve if you lose a nerve. Right. You know what I mean? So it's pretty much over. But yeah, health is the number one thing. I just started focusing on my health. I want to say 2 years ago, I just started drinking like I was eating sea moss. Don't you got the sea moss? You got the good sea moss, man. Shout out to the sea moss. I was eating sea moss. I was drinking drinks from Live Fresh, bowls and stuff like that.
I was getting the little parfait bowls and all that. It's fire.
And then I stopped eating pork. And
that's where I recently stopped. I looked probably like 6-7 months ago. I just cut it off.
Okay. Yeah, I stopped eating pork about a year and a half ago, and then I'm gonna try red meat, but I don't think I can cut red meat. I think I'm just
red meat's kind of hard to cut out.
Exactly.
It's just about like the sourcing. It's all about the sourcing. Like I try to look for like grass fed stuff because it's crazy. Like my cousin was just actually telling me this. He was over in Italy and like the same food laws and stuff that we have more so the lack of food laws that we have in America versus other countries. Like he told me he was eating terribly when he was in Italy, like, you know, pasta, sugars, all that kind of stuff. But
Right.
they don't put those same chemicals in the food that they do here in America.
Right.
And you could
To make it last long.
you could be eating like your like healthy diet or whatever, and you come out with like health conditions, you're gaining weight and things like that. And it's because we have really, really fluid laws about like what you put in the food and stuff. Like that.
Politics.
All politics.
And
Exactly
greed
what it is.
and money.
Yeah, like pretty soon you guys are gonna start seeing 3D food, 3D printed food.
I heard about that.
Yeah,
Like,
it's-
that just sounds crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would I put something
What
like that in my
nutrition
body?
is in there?
Right.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I mean they make it taste just like a real burger.
That's like
man.
the Spy Kids when they had that little microwave and they hit
You
it in
put
a
everything
little
in the-
milk.
Yeah, that's
pump
exactly
out.
what they doing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they doing, man. It's crazy. It's technology. That's why I say like it's just like I ain't even think of it. I just thought about it in my mind hooking up one of the bots to a 3D printer and just asking it to print stuff and how to
Yeah.
make this and how to make that. Swear. That's
People
where the
even
real
3D
money's
they're like
at.
3D printing guns too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
they-
switches,
People say, I'm about to say something. The
Switch.
Wow.
Yeah, the switches, man. They're common now. People wilding, man.
And
Violence,
You
the
don't
violence
understand, man.
is
You get
all
caught
their
with a
guns
switch,
automatic.
you're going up for a long
Right.
time.
Well, you know the justice system now, man. They ain't doing that much. They'll get a slap on the wrist because they want. So one thing I did learn early on:
Strike.
if there was no crime, cops wouldn't have a job. So a lot of cops nowadays, not even a lot of cops, the system. It's the system. The system lets a lot of people out, and they let them out because without them out, there's no job to do.
Mm-hmm.
So crime is a necessity. Basically, there will never be no crime because they want there to be crime. So that's the whole point of FBI. What is the FBI going to do if ain't nobody selling drugs? The DEA, any of those people. So they allow people to do what they want, and then they just politic and grab who they want, and then you know what I mean. They always keep the chain running. It's the same
Swear.
story, same place, just a different
A
person.
majority of the time, the people selling the solution are also the ones creating the problem.
Exactly. I mean, that's business. You sell the solution. You create the problem, then you sell the solution. You know what I mean? That's what COVID was. A lot of this stuff, that's what it is. You know what I mean? They sold something, or it was what it was, and then they came up with a solution. But the solution ended up leading right back to the problem.
We appreciate you for your time today, man.
No
Like,
problem.
you dropped so much knowledge. We had a great
Yeah,
conversation.
we got a lot of
man.
gems. We got a lot of stuff on drop.
A lot of gems. Like, y'all gonna have to watch this a couple times because I don't know if y'all gonna get it the first run through. But this man really, it's a gift to have you on the podcast, man. We
I
appreciate
appreciate it.
you
I
coming on here,
appreciate it, man.
I want you to
Shout out LocoCast.
yeah, and just end it off with like a positive message that you want our audience to hear,
Positive message.
or like we can say the word of the day.
My positive message would be, don't let social media influence what you got going on. And what I mean by that is, whenever you get on that app, everything that you're seeing, you're meant to see to have you chase a lifestyle that you may not even want. So honestly, figure out what you want in life, and then you work up off that. Because whenever you log on Instagram, it seems like everyone got a Hellcat, everyone got G-Wagon, everyone got chains and watches. When in reality, of course, you know that's not the very case. So it's good to strive for those things and to look at it as motivation, but don't let that consume who you are and affect your mental health.
It's facts. But yeah, man, thank you for coming on the
No
LocoCast.
problem.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video, tell your friends about it, and check us out in the future. Peace out.
Peace out.
man. Welcome.
I'ma grind to the top, I'ma get to the top.